I used to say, man, you see dark. I ain't something like
And they said like it be getting dark like yeah, like 11 o'clock sometimes. Like they be having like some really long days
but
and extremely short nights.
right. But and then in the wintertime we get dark around like 4 times.
Mhm.
Early, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy over there.
Yeah, man.
All right, so here we go. All right, so we live on the YouTube and we live on the club there. Oh, we live on YouTube and on the club. All right, we got first Peter chapter 1, starting at verse 1.
I'll take it.
Real loud for the microphone. So they can
Come.
hear us.
First Peter's chapter 1 from the top. Peter, an apostle of Hamashiach Yahushai, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and
Bithynia.
Bithynia.
Right. So he's writing to these people, writing to them. Not that he went there. People are trying to say that Peter went to these places. Peter wrote to the dispersed abroad Israelites. Right. Okay. They made an agreement to commission for him to stay really in the land of Judea. He really stayed in the regions of Judea. He didn't leave. They didn't Judea, but he wrote to the Israelites that was abroad. The people who were sent, the one that was sent to the Israelites abroad was Paul.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, Paul was sent and he took Timothy with him, and other people and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And Barnabas also went, but Peter actually was sent. Let's read it, because we were making it up. Can we get Galatians chapter 2?
Yeah. Got it.
But Peter's not the only one that wrote to the dispersed abroad Israelites. James
Right.
did too.
Right.
You know, James did not leave. He didn't leave Jerusalem. He didn't leave Judea, but he was the head of the church in Jerusalem. And he didn't live there.
Okay.
But he goes to the Israelites that was dispersed abroad. And again, this is where these so-called Christians keep getting this thing wrong. They completely negate the dispersed abroad Israelites. Christ came to the one in Jerusalem. He went to the one that was dispersed abroad. They didn't give him complete. They said, well, Paul went to the real Gentiles. Well, what about the one dispersed abroad? Who went to them? They completely just locked these people out. Someone had to go to them first. They went to the Jew first. When they considered to be Jews, dispersed abroad Israelites.
Right.
Had to. So who went to them? They can account for that, and that's why they don't understand Paul's writing, because that's who Paul is dealing with. That's who Paul has to be dealing with, right? So we have it in Galatians chapter 2, and let me get verse 9.
Verse 9. Okay, I take it. Let me the book of Galatians chapter 2 and verse 9. And it reads, and when James, Cephas and John, who seem to be the pillars.
Let's go real slow. So these are the foundational men,
Right.
the men, right? So when they've been holding up the church, right? James, which is Hamashiach Yahushua brother,
Right.
Cephas, which is Peter,
Okay.
and John, which is the one who wrote St. John, the Revelation, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. Right? Those two original apostles. Go ahead.
And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be the pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave it to me and Barnabas as the right hands of fellowship.
Mean partnership. Right? When they saw the grace, meaning the favor that was given to these men from God. The favor God had on these men, right? That and Barnabas, they gave them the right hand of partnership. I mean, they became partners now in getting the word, doing the work of getting the word out. Go ahead.
That we should go unto the heathen and they unto the circumcision.
That we, mean we, Paul is saying we, meaning me and Barnabas. Me and Barnabas should go unto the who? Unto the heathen, right? The Greek word that's there is ethnos.
Okay.
Ethnos, not heathen. It's ethnos.
Okay.
The Greek word there is. What they say, I'm making stuff up.
I like that word ethnic.
You wanna share your screen?
Let me pull it up first. I'm gonna share my screen, so they see what it say. I'm making it up. What is ethnos? Well, translated. I'm share my screen so we can show it. So they say stuff.
And then, after you do this, can you get the history behind this? To show the actual people were actual Jews in the area that he went to. England.
All right, so I'm showing the Greek. I'm showing the word here. You see here. Right? Yeah. Ethno. The word. Yeah. Ethno. Ethno probably from 1486 a race as of the same habit, i.e. a tribe, especially a foreign non-Jewish one, especially by implication pagan, Gentile, heathen, nation, people. These are all the things that it can be translated as. It could be a race, right? It could be a tribe, right? All right. Most of the time, especially a foreign non-Jewish one, usually by implication, pagan, Gentile, heathen, nation, people. But it can be also used as an Israelite, which okay. So just simply use it. Right. Because the word is used in here about, I think it's used in here 7 times. This word is used 7 times. Ethnos. The ethnos is used in here 7 times.
Okay.
Yeah, and 5 of the times that it's being used in here, it's talking about Israel.
Yeah, because like if you didn't know that part, it'll be like that make it like yeah, see, we going to the Gentiles right here.
Yeah. Trying to get it. You know what? Let me get the verse right. What was that?
That's the tape in here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
like basically, like my whole book of songs is like it's all taped up.
Oh wow.
It's all taped up.
I need that. I was about at home. That's like all it's all falling apart, man. Like
But that one's about to get worse.
like the old Genesis is gone. Like it's like missing the pieces. Like I think I'll
Once I get the office set back up, it's gonna have to get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Let me show you this word. You see ethno. You see right there, right? Ethno. I'm gonna show you where this word is used 7 times in the Bible. 5 times is clearly an Israelite. I'm gonna come to first Acts chapter 10, verse 22. Acts chapter 10. We're gonna get verse 22. So we're gonna get. We have Acts chapter 10, verse 22. Let me share my screen right quick so we can all see it. All right, go ahead.
Acts chapter 10, verse 22. And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by a holy angel to send for thee into his house and to hear words of thee.
Right, so right here when it says, among all the nation of the Jews, the word nation is ethnos. Clearly he's speaking of the Israelites. And
Which word was it?
nation. The English word
Oh,
nation,
okay.
nation of the Jews.
Nation.
The Greek word, let me share it so everybody else can see it. That's what I have it here. It's ethnos. It's the same thing, 1486, the same number we read from the last one in Galatians.
Right, yeah.
This is clearly speaking of the Israelites, it's the nation of the Jews.
Mhm. Right, right.
That's one place we've seen that this word is used as referring to the Israelites. Right, we have it here. Go back. Let's go back to the text. We're gonna go to the other one. Let's get the other one. So then there's also verse 24.
Right, verse 24.
I think it's verse 24.
Verse 24.
No, I'm sorry, that's 24. That's 24. Let's go Acts 24.
Excellent.
Acts 24, excuse me, Acts 24. And this is where a lot of them is at.
Is that Acts chapter 24?
Yes,
Okay, great.
Acts chapter 24. There's about 3 of them in here. Verse 2.
Acts chapter 24, verse 2. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence.
Nation again right here. The word nation right here is ethnos. According to the text of this is speaking of the Israelites again. Unto this nation, right?
Right.
By thy providence.
Right, right, yeah.
That's Israelite.
Mhm.
Same word.
Right.
Right? 1484. Okay, verse 10.
Then Paul, after that, the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, for as much as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself.
Same word again, ethnos.
For nation.
This nation. You know, the context is speaking of the nation of Israel.
Definitely.
Okay, verse 17.
Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings.
Guess what word it is again?
Yeah.
Ethnos. My nation. Says about Israelite. And just get the last one. Acts 26, verse 4. So again, this word is used 7 times in the Bible. 5 of them is no question is talking about Israelite. Right? We read 4 of them already. We can read the 5th one. So Acts chapter 26, we're going to get verse 4.
So are you including the one in the Galatians?
Yes, I'm reading the one who is clearly
Oh,
Israelite.
okay.
There's no argument.
Okay, but you leave, that's not including the one in Galatians.
No, with the ones in Galatians, I'm saying those are also Israelites.
Right,
But I'm saying that the word is used 7 times.
right.
5 is no argument, it's Israelite.
Got you. Okay. I'm with you.
5 is Israelite.
Right.
So so what I'm saying is that the last 2 is leaning towards what? Israelite.
Right. I got you. I'm with you.
Right? So look at the last one here in Acts chapter 26, verse 4.
Acts 26, verse 4. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among my own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Jews.
My own nation. Ethnos again. So that's 5 places this word is used. No question it's talking about the nation of Israel.
No, all the Jews.
No question.
Okay.
We have the one in Galatians where they try to trick you and translate it as heathen, and it's ethnos again, right? And it's right, ethnos again, which would have to be Israel. All of them going to Israel. I'm gonna prove to you that that's what, listen, he has to be going to them.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
This is the situation. I'm not guessing and saying he may be going to Gentile, he's going to other nations. He has to be going to the dispersed abroad. He has to. And I'm gonna show you why he has to. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. None of people saying, well, it could be this or it could be that. No, 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 no. It has to be this. Let's go back to Galatians chapter 2.
Before you go there, can you get the history behind Galatians chapter 2 to show?
I'm back to where Galatians what?
Chapter 2, verse 9. Where was that? I'm gonna get it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to get this right.
Yeah.
I want to show that they have to be Israelites, and he's gonna get the back up. Galatians chapter 2, let's read verse 9 again.
All right, I got it. Galatians chapter 2 and verse 9. It reads, and when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be the pillars, received the grace that was given unto me.
The grace, again, is the favor. Grace is favor. That's from the Most High. That was given to Paul and Barnabas. Go ahead.
They gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship,
The right hand of partnership. They became partners in doing it. Go ahead.
that we should go unto the heathen.
That we, mean Paul and Barnabas, should go on to this word here is ethnos, which is not heathen. It could be Gentile, race, and we just read the definition. Go ahead.
And they unto the circumcision.
And they unto the circumcision. The circumcision are the ones that's in Judea, right? The circumcision are the ones that's in Judea. Let's prove that the circumcision are the ones that are in Judea. So we got to prove it. So we get Acts chapter 11. We can show you who the circumcision are. That James, Peter, and John predominantly was going to the ones that was in Judea. Remember, they was raised up in that area, brought up in that area, familiar with that area, right? Paul specifically sent out the dispersed abroad because Paul again himself was a dispersed abroad Israelite. Paul was not born in Jerusalem, he was born in Tarsus, which is southern Turkey to this day. He is a dispersed abroad Israelite himself. So he's sent to dispersed abroad Israelites. That's just the math of the Most High. It makes complete sense. Simple, man. You know what I'm saying?
Do what you already doing.
Do what you already doing. Do what you came from, what you're familiar with.
Wow.
I know since we're not even familiar with that area, Paul is from that area.
Wow.
Right, so we got Acts chapter 11, and let's get verse. Let me get the verse right quick. No, it's right at the top, Acts chapter 11, and it's verse 1 and 2.
Acts chapter 11. There. Acts chapter 11, verse 1. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God.
Go ahead.
And when Peter was come up to
When
Jerusalem,
Peter came where?
up to Jerusalem,
Uh-huh.
they that were of the
That was
circumcision
of the who? Uh-huh.
contended with him.
So the circumcision are where?
In Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. They're in Judea. So that's where James, Peter, and John predominantly went to the circumcision, the one that was in Jerusalem, that was in Judea. That's where. And Paul and Barnabas were supposed to go on to the ethnos, the dispersed abroad. Now let's find out why he had to be going. He had to go to the dispersed abroad Israelite. And I'm gonna have the bar and give you some history on this background. We get one more scripture, then we get St. John chapter 11. St. John chapter 11 tells you where Paul has to be going. I want to get right to the point so you get the bar in. St. John chapter 11. And I want to get verse. Start at verse 50. Verse 50 down to verse 52. St. John chapter 11, verse 50 down to verse 52.
St. John's chapter 11. Nor consider that
Read verse 49.
Come.
49. Go ahead.
St. John's chapter 11, verse 49. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
Right. It is expedient, meaning that it is suitable for a particular purpose, right? Which is Christ died for the nation. That's what he's saying here. Go ahead.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation.
He died for that nation. Specific. We clearly, listen, he's prophesying. He's clear what he's doing. So the information that he's telling you comes straight from the Most High. Prophecy don't come from Hasatan. Comes from the Most High. So when he's speaking, it's from the Most High. So if you're refuting it, you're refuting the Most High. That's what he's saying through the high priest. He should die for that nation. He ain't dying for what Adam did. He's trying to think that Christ died for Adam did. This thing does not say that. He said he died for a particular people, a nation. That's what Adam did. No one can find a scripture anywhere where he said that Christ died for what Adam did. Doesn't say that.
I've
Nowhere.
always heard that, because we wasn't a nation at that time.
Salakia. I
Yes,
think the reason they say that is because sin, didn't Adam and Eve, they was the first ones to commit sin, and that was created by the Most High, and Amasiak is the redeemer of that. Is
No.
why they trying to say that.
Gotcha, Khan. No, I got you. Yeah, Khan. But I'm saying, when we just read just now, say he was dying for a nation.
No. Yeah, no.
He died for a nation. Not Adam and Eve, they're just two people. It wasn't a nation.
Time. They the ones who they the ones who introduced sin into see,
Right.
come.
Go ahead, Izar.
So Adam being a priest, he would be able to atone for their sins from that, right?
Of course, he was a priest.
Come
Right.
on, okay, all right, okay.
That's who Cain and Abel brought their offerings to. Because offerings to Adam. And Adam offered it up to the Most High. Because there's always a mediator between God and man. Always a mediator between God and man. To be clear. Christ is the last mediator between God and man. And every time there was a mediator between God and man. Adam was the first. And he went on down to his son Seth and Noah and Eber and his son, and so all the way down to Abraham.
So who was it before Christ?
Say again?
Who was it before Christ?
Before Christ would be the prophet,
Okay.
right? Or John the Baptist, which was in that area at that time, right? But there's always a mediator between God and man. Every era there's been a mediator between God and man that you have.
It would be the priest, high priest, or prophet.
Huh.
Got it. So
Meaning someone who brings God's word to the people. That's the mediator between God and man. Someone that's bringing God's word to you.
Okay, so Melchizedek is for Abraham.
Melchizedek for Abraham, right? Huh. He's a mediator there, right? So on and so forth. Christ is the last mediator. He's still the mediator. He's the last and current. He's still the mediator.
The living God.
That's why we do all things by Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai.
Come.
That's why we do that. All right, so continue.
With 51, right?
Yeah.
Let me call it out. St. John's chapter 11, verse 51. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered
All
abroad.
right, so all we need, so Christ have to gather together the children of God that was dispersed abroad. We know when Christ died and resurrected, he left after 40 days. He didn't go do that. He didn't go gather, right? That's why the prophecy right, they got to be fulfilled. No, he didn't do that. So he sent Paul and Barnabas out to go do that. So that's why they had to go to this protocol, because a prophecy was left that had to be done.
No.
So that's why they had to go to these people out there. And with that, let me let the bar come in and give you the, and you can get Acts chapter 13 and 1, gives you the history of when God at that point decided to send Paul and Barnabas out to the destructive on Israelites, right? So the bar will take it over from there.
Can we go back to First Peter real quick? Just real quick. Just want to bring out another important note about that scripture.
First Peter.
Chapter 1, verse 1.
All right, who got it?
I'll read it again. First Peter's chapter 1 from the top. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Bithynia.
All right, so you notice how the brother, I don't know if he did that intentionally or out of the spirit moving, but he went to Galatians, okay, specifically, because Peter mentions that as one of the cities. So one of the same city that Paul wrote to. All right, Gadafra, one of the churches of Hamashiach Al-Shai and the believers was at. Okay, so he's writing to those specific people. Okay, pull up the word stranger. All right, I can't really see it from here, but what's the first one? Sorry, so the word is, yeah. Oh, it's not pulling up.
Pontus.
No, so it's Peridemos. Yes. Peripidemos. Right. Which one are you guys looking at? It does say up there. I can't see it.
Oops.
Lexicon that is looking at. Is it the Brown Driver's Bridge or which one for Strong?
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll make sure I'm reading right. All right. So the Strong's is from G3844. So this is G3927. This is the word. And it's from G3844. It says, and the base of 1927. And on the alien alongside, that is a resident or a foreigner or a pilgrim or a stranger. All right. I don't know if you guys have around the Thayers up there or not, but when you read Thayers, it says one who comes from a foreign country into a city or land to reside there by the side of the natives. Okay.
We have it all here.
Okay.
That's the Hebrew strong.
That's a he. Oh, so they call it. Yeah. Okay. So it's okay. Okay. So, all right. And then it says her joint. It says stranger. And then it says you're joining in a strange place, a foreigner. Okay. So we see that the people that Peter is writing to are foreigners in another place.
Right.
That's what they are. They're foreigners in another place. Okay, the brother already went over who that is already, so I'm just kind of reinforcing the same point that he already made. They're foreigners in another place. Okay. Now, when you go to Galatians 2, that's how the brother was reading here and everything. The history, some of that, you can read about some of the times that they were visiting Galatia in Acts. And you can see the people he was dealing with throughout those cities, as well as other cities that Paul wrote to. All right, so let's go to Acts 18. And let's start at verse 19. So this is Paul right here, okay?
Okay.
So Acts 18, starting at verse 19.
Acts chapter 18, verse 19. And he came to Ephesus.
To Ephesus, Ephesians. That's the letter of the Ephesians. Go ahead.
And left them there. But he himself entered into the synagogue and reasoned with the Jews.
All right, when it says left them there, he's talking about Aquila and Priscilla, but that's who traveled with him. Okay, so the brother said something earlier. He said he has to go to first abroad. So when we read this, does it say that he goes to the synagogue of the Gentiles? Say he's going into the synagogue of the Ephesians? of the native people that were there? No. He's specifically going to address his people, okay? Because he's trying to bring the ministry of Hamashiach Yahushua. That's what he's doing. He's bringing that gospel to them. All right. All right. Let's jump down a little bit. Jump down to verse 23.
Verse 23. And after he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia
The Galatians. Go ahead.
and Phrygia in order, strengthening all the disciples.
All the disciples. We know all the disciples of Hamashiach Yahushua were his people. We know that. So that's what he's going to. He's not going to break that blueprint. Not going to go to with some new thing. If he's making disciples, that means that he's going to his people. Okay, go ahead. Verse 24.
Verse 24. And a certain Jew named Apollos, born in Alexandria, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus.
All right, born at Alexandria. Alexandria is in Egypt. All right, that's not in Jerusalem. That's not in land Israel. Alexandria is in Egypt. So we had dispersed abroad people who would travel all the way from Egypt to go all the way to Ephesus to meet with another fellow Israelite. So the dispersed abroad, even amongst themselves, they were still traveling. They still had some traveling rights. If they could get around, they weren't just locked away. And no, they were dispersed abroad. They were traveling also. So the people are scattered abroad. Paul, he's able to travel back and forth, go to these people and all that. Okay, so these are the dispersed abroad. It's much like how today you got brothers who travel around the different cities because our people are in what? Different cities. This stuff is simple. It's real simple. And the whole time, has he once dealt with any of the people of the Gentile now? The whole way through. Jews. This, that, everything. And we already know who he's dealing with. So that's all I want to add here. It's even showing the history here of who he went to. We got the history behind it as well. When he went to these people. Okay, he's not going into the synagogue of the Gentiles, the synagogue of the heathen, synagogue of the Jews. That's who he directly goes to. Every single time. He's not going to seek the other nations. That's not what he's doing in his behavior pattern. He's consistently always going to seek out his people. That's the behavior pattern all through Acts concerning Paul. So I just want to do it.
All right, so we see right here that Apollos, like your brother said, came from Alexandria, and he said this man was eloquent. He knew how to speak, and he said he was mighty in the scripture. What did we clear? All right, that's talking about the Old Testament. There was no so-called New
Testament. Yeah.
Right, he was mighty in the Old Testament, and he came to Ephesus. And verse 25 says, "This man was instructed in the way of the Lord." This goes all the way back to Old Testament time. The quote unquote movement that is called the Way originated with the Most High. It was calling the same thing again when you get into the so-called New Testament, the Way. There was a movement, the Christ's movement, his body, the church, had a term that they called it the Way. That's what they call it, the Way, right? This is where Esau fielded from his Mandalorian series. This is the Way. He fielded from the text, where it comes from. But it goes all the way back to the Old Testament from the Most High. It was all about knowing the Most High, or as it says here, instructed in the way of the Lord. When God said, "You don't know my way or my ways," this is where it all comes from. This is what he's trying to instruct his people. He wants you to understand his way. How would we say here? How would Christ do it? This is time. How would God do it? You know what I'm saying? What would Jesus do? Or what would God do? Right. And that's the problem. God said, "You have not known me. You have not known my way." Or how I would do things. I want you to do what I would do. I want to stop and pause and say, well, what would Christ do in the situation like this? What would Christ say in the situation like this? That's how you gauge your next action, your next words, and how you operate. All right, let's go back to 1 Peter, chapter 1. You hear these birds on the street, I guarantee they don't do that. They don't stop and say, well, how would Christ deal with this brother or deal with this sister? How would Christ deal with them? They don't even think about that. They just go, what's your nationality? That's not how Christ dealt with his people.
Top it down.
Right, that's not how Christ dealt with the nations neither.
With your nationality.
That ain't how he dealt with them at all.
That part down like banging. I'm like, where you from? Like, what's your nationality?
They should be here trying to get Christ. They should be here trying to get Christ and sheep. Christ said, "My sheep came on board." You should be bringing how much word. All right, let's continue with 1 Peter.
1 Peter's chapter verse 2. Chapter 1, verse 2. Elect.
So all these people that we brought out in Bithynia, Asia, Cappadocia, and Galatia, these people are all elect. They're all elect. So then we identify who these people are, right? Elect. Stop. Who's the elect? That's right. Sure. We get no confusion. Can we get Isaiah 45 and 4? Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 4 to find out who the elect is. The elect. So we need to get
What are you saying?
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4. Whoever got it can go ahead and read that.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4.
Yeah, verse 4. You need a line for the microphone.
Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob my servant sake, and Israel my elect.
Who?
Israel.
Israel, my elect. Go ahead.
I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee through thou hast not known me.
Right. So Israel is the elect. We clear. That's who the elect is. But when Peter's using his word elect, he's talking about Israelites. These are the people that are dispersed abroad. All right, let's go back to 1 Peter chapter 1 and let's read verse 2 again.
First Peter, okay. And a question just came in my head that I hope I can ask later.
Go ahead.
We just read in Isaiah 45 that the elect is Israel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's when we're talking about Israel, we're talking about all 12 tribes at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would have been my question at the beginning had I thought about it, because this is kind of a lingering question in my walk since I've come into like a deeper knowledge and a higher vibration that my body operates in when we're in the truth. Negro only Israelites, all 12 tribes being Negro. Now, I don't think anybody will argue that in the beginning, when under Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, obviously we were all Negro. We were all so-called black, never black, but Negro. In these modern times, I'm running into a lot of brothers that I respect that are Negro only Israelites. Amanya, as a teacher, would you support that? Would you dispel that? Can you prove that? What do you say about that?
I support that and let's prove it.
Wow.
So supporting one thing is one thing, you gotta prove it. Can we prove it right quick?
Correct.
Can we get Isaiah chapter 29? You're gonna go to the book of Isaiah, the 29th chapter.
29th chapter. Okay.
Let everybody get there. Isaiah 29. Here we go. I'm sharing my screen so you can all see. We're gonna come all the way to the bottom. We're gonna get verse 22. Isaiah chapter 29, and we're gonna get verse 22.
Okay. '22.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Everybody,
Okay.
maybe go ahead and 29, verse 22. All right, we got to go ahead loud for the microphone.
Come, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham.
Let's be going real slow. So, nothing the Lord he redeemed Abraham. Abraham was on the other side and the messing with his father doing idols and stuff. So he redeemed him, put him out of that nonsense. All right, go ahead.
Concerning the house of Jacob,
But concerning targeting Jacob, his grandson, right? Not Isaac, but his grandson Jacob. I redeemed Abraham, but more specifically concerning the house of Jacob, right?
Okay.
12 tribes. All 12 tribes. Go ahead.
Jacob shall not now be ashamed,
The 12 tribes shall not now be ashamed. Go ahead.
neither shall his face now wax pale.
Neither shall the 12 tribes face their visage. Wax is an old English term, it means to turn. Wax is an old English term, means to turn. Turn pale, right? This word here, this English word pale, is the Hebrew word shavah. Shavah means to turn white. I'm gonna pull it up and show you.
pull it out.
Uh-oh.
Pull that one up.
Pull it right now. Shavah means to turn white. We'll pull it up right now. And it's in the Hebrew. It's the Hebrew word shavah. His face shall not turn
22, right?
white, meaning,
Qual stamp, right?
huh?
Qual stamp.
Often, I mean, it's not going to, they're not going to lose their pigmentation, is what God is saying here to the prophet Isaiah.
Oh, yeah, it sure does say that there.
Shavah. To blanch, as would shame, wax pale, right? Qual stem, to be white, to grow white, grow pale. That's what it is saying, what it means here. Their face is not going to turn like that. That's why the word wax is there. It means the only term to mean turn.
Oh, so it would never happen.
It will never happen. If it happened, it's because that they have mixed, and when they mix, they're no longer an Israelite. That's the reason why in Ezra, God told him to send away that woman and the child born of them, because the child is now mixed. Mixed people are not considered to be Israelites according to God.
Okay. Okay.
He sent them away because mixing gonna turn your face white, right?
Correct.
Or bleach or blanch.
Correct.
God said that wouldn't happen to them. That's why God is in every time frame has always reserved Israelites that have not mixed. Some Israelites have, other Israelites have not. In the time of Israel, when they came out of Babylonian captivity, they had some of the priests and men who had mixed. And God told Israel, send that woman away and that child. But children, by the time you come to Hamashiach Yahushai's time, that was dead. Israel was not doing that. Because in Ezra time, that's been ingrained in them to not be mixing. When you come to Hamashiach Yahushai time, that was ingrained that we don't do that. As a matter of fact, when you read in the first century, the Israelites didn't even want to learn Greek. They didn't push them to learn no Greek or even associate with Greek or no other culture. Just with your own, what they were specifically pushed upon them to deal with. Yeah. I was dead in the first century. It wasn't moving like that. But they wasn't worried about mixing in the first century like that. That's it, there wasn't no one doing it. That was ingrained in it. That was going all the way back. So and we see that they, let's read it. I'm making stuff up.
That was good. That was good.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Why you got the definition? I don't want you to move away from it. I know you have-
Okay. So I have another question that just has come up.
Wait, hold on. I just real quick. I just want to get the definition of the word blanch because that was in the definition and in the strong. So the word blanch, according to Merriam-Webster, it's a verb. And first definition that it has says to take the color out of. Wow. To take the color out of. All right. The second one is in the it says age had blanched his hair. So your hair loses color as you get older. It loses its color. That's what blanch means. It's losing color.
Right.
So when he's saying wax,
Okay. Losing.
losing your color, you're
Wow.
losing the original color. That was there. He's saying that this would not happen to Israel. You would not lose your original color. Now, hold on. There's more definitions. There's more. There's more. All right. It says in cooking, it says to scald or parboil in water or steam in order to remove the skin from, to whiten, or to stop an enzymatic action such as in food for freezing. Okay, so another one says to bleach by excluding light. To bleach by excluding light, to make ashen or pale.
That's spiritual right there.
Wow.
Bleach by excluding light with its information, that's brainwashing. That's what that's speaking of. Because we have people today that we call Oreo. Black on the outside, white on the inside. So that the information is inside of you.
Right.
And they do have the other one, like the figurative one that they had in the Strong's about like as with shame, because they do have one where it says to become white or pale as from shock or fear. So they do have that there too.
Wow.
They do have it there too. So the definition does give that there, but
Well, we know they're not talking about that.
dominantly it's talking about removing color. Dominant.
Because
That's what you're asking.
we know they're talking about because the text says face.
Mm-hmm.
We know we're talking about
Okay.
complexion. His face won't wax pale.
Right.
That's what it's.
Okay.
So we can't be that. It can't be
Yeah,
that.
the same word that's in the same word that's in the anointing prayer, number 6, where the word face, it's in it's here too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's panya, face.
Yep.
And it's the same word.
And yami faces mean. So it's actually plural, so spaces.
Right, that's all.
They're faces.
They face the time. That's correct. Good catch.
Wow.
Faces. So it's the entire nation. Their faces without turning there.
Okay. So then,
So
Gabar, how would that relate to what Michael Jackson went through? Or is it that I don't think we'll ever know the real truth about what happened to Michael Jackson's complexion?
Well, I mean, he did that. That was cosmetic. That wasn't something that wasn't like a disease or anything. That was cosmetic that he did.
You're saying it wasn't vitiligo?
No, much like how Lil' Kim did the same thing. Like a lot of people, there's a few celebrities that do that. They bleach their skin.
Sammy Sosa.
What's that?
Yeah, Sammy Sosa. Even to an extent, Charlamagne did to an extent because he was dark. He's not as dark as he used to be. He just did it. He just kind of. I think what he did was he just didn't go as heavy because his skin is like lighter than what it used to be. Way lighter. Charlamagne.
Yeah, Charlamagne.
He was dark.
Serena lighter.
no, man, the walls. Oh my God.
That's why I didn't say that.
You didn't know that Serena's skin lighter.
Oh man.
Yeah, she did it too. Serena Williams did it too.
Yeah, she did. I knew it was different about her. There's something different about her. Yeah, she did do that. Yeah.
They call her gorilla.
Yeah, so Zakaria, this is the verse I use to support the Negro only Israelites. This verse right here.
Okay. Then my question to that is, so Isaiah 29 verse 22, how does that coincide with what is it? The verse, I think it's is it Matthew 18, where the Most High is talking about how the fathers of Israel align themselves, the children of Israel align themselves according to the house of their fathers.
You said Matthew 18?
Is that what that is? Matthew 18? I could be wrong about the chapter.
Is it in the Old or New Testament?
It's in the Old Testament.
That must be Numbers then.
I believe it's. Let me check. Let me double check that.
It follows.
Yeah, that's Numbers 1:18.
Yep, 118. Yeah. So how does Isaiah 29:22 coincide with Numbers 18:1, where let me see here.
1:18.
118.
1 and 18, excuse me.
All right,
Now
can we-
this is at the very beginning.
Yeah, can we read it? Numbers chapter 1, verse 18?
Yeah.
We need to read it. So I'll read that.
Mhm.
Hey, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and read it if you got it.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, I have it. Yes.
Go ahead.
Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right. So when they were all gathered together, in the first day of the second month, they declared their lineage, their pedigree, their lineage after their families by the house of their father. Right. So that's what they were doing. They were just going to the house of their pedigree. I'm from the tribe of Judah, right? From the tribe of Judah, so and so son. Right.
Okay.
That's how we would go. That when we do the Shabbat service, we have to come up, and I would say, Amayan, Amayan, Banyamyan, Amayan from the tribe of Benjamin. If I'm declaring my name, then I go into what tribe I'm from, or I would then have to say I would say my name, then I would say my father's name, whoever he was, and I would say, oh, he comes from the tribe of Benjamin, right? I'm not gonna name his father way to Benjamin.
Right.
I would just name my immediate father and saying he's from Benjamin.
Okay.
This is how they would do it. I'm so and so, because people always ask you, whose son are you? Who's your father? Who's your father? Well, my father. My father is so and so. That's what they were doing here in Numbers 1 and 18.
Okay. You know what? Actually, I received my clarity now that we read it. Now what I'm hearing in the spirit is that really Isaiah 29:22 is just stating that this never changes.
Right.
We're Negro, and we wouldn't turn pale, nor would we turn away from aligning ourselves at the house of our Father.
Right, meaning that what he's saying here is that the real Israelites are one to identify them that they're going to retain their skin color.
Correct. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Israelites losing their skin color has become. Let's read it. Let's read it. Can we get Ezra chapter 10? Let's find out what happened. What happened to Israelites that have lost their pigmentation, right? That has now going off into pale. You're in Ezra the 10th chapter.
Ezra the 10th chapter. Okay.
And let's get Ezra the 9th chapter. One chapter behind. Ezra chapter 9.
Okay. I have it.
And let's get verse 2.
9 verse 2. Okay. Let me just change 9 verse 2. Okay. The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed that mingled themselves with the people of those lands, yea, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass.
So what they happened, they have so that the holy seed The original seed has mingled themselves with the people of the land. They have become mingled. They've mingled themselves with the land. So now, meaning that now they've become mixed, right? Now they're mixed. Now let's find out what's going on with the mixed situation here, right?
But one question, during this time, these other nations were black as well.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
No, let me look at it real quick. Let me see. I'm trying to look at the nations that they had actually. Let me see. I'm trying to see if Esau was in here, but they mixed with them too.
It's in the it's in First Ezra. The same situation but in First Ezra. Shows that it's Esau.
Because Ezra 9 doesn't mention
So
this either.
it's in First Ezra chapter 8. First Ezra chapter 8. Like First Ezra chapter, First Ezra chapter 8, starting at verse 69. First Ezra is in the Apocrypha chapter 8, verse 69. Same situation that we're reading in Ezra chapter 9 here. Yeah, in the Red Apocryphal book, it will be page 11 if you have the Red Apocryphal section.
Yeah, that's my bad. What's the first Ezra?
Chapter 8, verse 69.
Verse 69, it says,
Get verse 72.
Wait a minute.
verse 6. First Ezra, chapter 8, verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollution of the Gentiles, to wit of a Canaanite, Hittite, and Perizzite, and Sarah, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites. 70.
Yeah, go ahead.
For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land, and from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity.
All right, so there it is right there. Same situation that we read about first in Ezra chapter 9 is here also in First Ezra. Okay, give a little bit more detail. All right, it's calling it a trespass in Ezra, but over here it's saying iniquity.
Right, so they become mingled. And here in back in the Bible, Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 3. I would have it here up. Nehemiah, the 13th verse 3 said they become mingled, they become mixed. And Nehemiah, the 13th chapter, verse 3. Says right here. Can someone read that real quick? Nehemiah, the 13th verse 3.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 3. Now it came to pass when they had heard the law,
When they heard the Torah, God's instruction. Go ahead.
that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude.
All of this. So it was the Torah that they heard that they separated the mixed multitude. So we have today in this movement, we have a whole bunch of mixed people intertwined in these different camps and these different congregations right here. According to the Torah, they're supposed to be separating these people from them. According to God, this is per God's instruction. This is what they did. Right? And you have, and again, Gorilla Hebrew, he said that Ezra is off. What he said. He said Ezra is off. So what he's actually saying is that God is off. Because it was God that told Ezra to do it. Ezra wasn't doing it on his own. He's directly saying that God is off. This is the ignorance of this God, because he's clearly mixed. Mother is an Edomite, right?
Mhm.
So this is for anybody that's saying anything different. What you're saying, you say that God is off because God told Ezra to do this. He's not doing it. They're not doing this on their own, saying, let me go to my own head and listen. Let's just come here and counsel, and we're gonna just decide to separate these people and send them away like that without getting counsel from God. We got counsel from Most High. And as a matter of fact, let's prove it. So you can stop this movie. We can end this nonsense right quick. You know what I'm saying? So can we get Ezra, the 10th chapter? We're gonna get Ezra the 10th chapter. We're gonna show this and prove it. We're gonna come on back to First Peter. We can
Okay.
I want to get right to the point so we can show and prove this. We show my screen and show it. Because really Hebrew, trust me, he knows the answer for that. He knows the answer for that. And here's why. He is meticulous. He's meticulous in studying and researching and looking at stuff. I believe he sees it, but he can't say it because if he does, he has to now step down from his position over the camp and turn it over to deacon. I think he knows it. He's a man, and God would say separate you from the congregation. So his pride will not allow him to admit the truth. You cannot tell me he's not a meticulous studier. And he don't go into background and definition of words. We know he does. I know he found. Listen, because if I found it, I know he found it. How I know he found it? Because his right hand man, Deacon, was pulling up the guy that I found. He pulled him up. And I was telling him, I said, Deacon, you pulled the guy that I'm about to read right now. So I know you know. What he did, started to deflect. He's asking me another question. I'm answering his first question, he came with another question. He wouldn't allow me to answer the first question. Because I was going to show where God told Ezra to do that. Because the other guy, Ariella, was on it. Ariella said, prove that. I said, God told Ezra to do that. He said, prove it. So I'm going to go prove it. And I said, Deacon, you pull this guy I'm about to pull right now and show you that what I'm saying is true. And he knew what I was saying was true. He deflected. He started asking me another question. He wanted to talk about Ruth and Boaz to deflect them from me answering the question. But let's get Ezra chapter 10 and let's get verse 3. Ezra chapter 10 and yeah,
10 verse 3.
in verse 3. Yeah, we get the
Verse 3. Okay.
all right, go ahead, brother.
All right, Ezra chapter 10, verse 3. Now therefore, let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives and as such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and those that tremble at the commandments of our God, and let it be done according to the law.
Let it be done according to further chapter.
Oh, verse 3.
Yeah. So they're making a contract with the Most High to put away the wives and such that are born of them, according to the counsel that says right here of my Lord. Right? So we say here, look at my screen here. Move this out the way and show you. I got my screen shared here. It says 134 passages where the Sahifra altered the Most High's name to Adonai. What you have here, when you look it up, you would have Adonai here. When it says the Lord, Adonai. But it was altered from God's name. It was altered from putting God's name there, to alter it to Adonai. I've done 34 places here. I'm sharing it right here on the screen. Now, right here, we have what we're reading right here. Ezra, right here, we highlighted Ezra chapter 3, chapter 10, verse 3. This is one of the places that they altered. They removed God's name and they put Adonai here.
Okay.
It's originally read according to the counsel of Yahweh. That's what it originally read. The Sophrium or Masoretes altered it to Adonai. They changed it. Why they changed it? They claim that they don't want you to speak God's name because it's too holy. So everywhere they would see it, they would go and change it to Adonai. And this is one place where they changed it. This one I was going to show Deacon because what I pulled up right here, this is the guy that Deacon had pulled up.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Okay.
This is the guy that he pulled up.
Oh, so you know, he knows that.
So I said,
yeah. I
I
got
was gonna pull it up. So you know this guy. And you know about his appendix 32. So the companion Bible, he gives you of the place that they did it. It's one of the places. So that's why I know this was the most high to do it. So anyone that's saying something different, you go against God himself. God said put them away, not man.
Right.
Situation is, see, now you begin to understand who's real Israel and who's just talking that they Israel. How many of them got the fortitude to do something like that? Yeah, I have children, white woman, and I can do that. Yes, you can. You can still take care of that child. You ain't got to do that woman know that. You like, I got to go. I'm gonna still take care of y'all. I'm not gonna not take care of y'all. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of my child. I'm gonna take care of you too. Yeah. But according to me being Israelite, according to what God should do, I've got to send you away. I got to fix your way. I got to follow that. Yes, sir.
Because if you don't take care of them, you still an infidel, right?
Huh?
If you don't take care of
You're
them.
sinning because you're violating what God said. You're in sin. When you don't do what God said, you're sinning. Period. You're sinning. It's up to you. Like I said, I'm giving. Listen, I can only show you what it says. It's up to you to do it or not. I've done my job, right? According to Ezekiel said, God told Ezekiel, son of man, tell him. You don't tell him, blood is on your hand. You don't tell him, you don't absolve yourself. I've told him and showed him. I don't want no blood in my hand. Once God show me, I show you. Do what you want to do from that point. I'm good. I already, that's what the scripture says. For many are called. Majority not gonna do it. Let me go back.
And I just kind of want to bring up a point too, like, and they're saying according to the law, they know what's happening. They know what happened to them. They know about the mixed too, and what caused all the sin while they was in the wilderness. They are aware of this. They're going by the counsel of the Most High. That's the counsel. Is what was written. So they know already. They know what they're dealing with. They know about what happened in Leviticus with the woman who was an Israelite and her husband was an Egyptian and the son and what it did. They are aware of the situation. Okay, they are aware of what it says in Deuteronomy 7:6. Hey, don't even marry them. Don't even do this. Don't even do that. They're like, so again, they are very aware. They're aware of, hey, look, when it comes to certain nations, man, they can't even remain alive. If we see on the Amalek, we gotta catch him on sight. Like, they're aware of these things already. This is according to the law. So they know, like, yeah, I ain't supposed to be mixing with them, man. Some of these nations, man, they ain't supposed to be living. They're supposed to be out of it. Right. So they're aware of all that. So now when they go forward, because people are often talking about, well, it's progressive. It's progressive. So let's talk about progressive movement. Progressively, them going forward, this is the decision that they made based upon the counsel of the Most High.
Right.
Progressively moving forward, they can't be here. They gotta go. Right. Because in the wilderness, we saw what happened. We see all our forefathers when they write, they always go refer back to what happened in the past in order to convey a point. So they doing the same thing. They went back in the past, they looked at it. It says that it says in verse 1 how Ezra was praying. So obviously the Most High answered him. And then whenever it says Shechaniah, whenever he came to and told him, like, hey, this is what we'll do. Ezra didn't deny it. Ezra didn't do that. Swear. He says it later in the verse, swear you're gonna do that. Now don't just do it. No, you're gonna swear this. And that's how it had to be done. It wasn't just okay, y'all can go. No, you gotta swear. This is serious. And I'm saying it like that to make up the predict the plan the brother was talking about in today's time. This is a serious matter. This is not like, and I get it, it's a serious matter if you having children by her. It's serious all the way around. We're not saying you having children by her is not a serious matter. The whole thing is a serious matter. What you gonna do? Because this is where the real test comes in. Are you gonna follow the Most High to the T or not? Some people got situations where fringes, keep the Sabbath, Passover, I love that lamb. Get to this though, hey.
Can't do that one. Can't do that one.
But she don't take everything. Hey, I know of people that have done it. There are a few. Select few that have been like, nah, man. I read that, man. Like, actually, Esau, man. Like, I've heard the stories. Some brothers have done it, so it is possible. I ain't gonna say there's been a lot of brothers, but some have done it. But I haven't heard it done much. I'll be fair. It hasn't been done much.
But OJ and Tiger Woods.
I thought out of here. No. I'm telling you, sorry, you sitting off some flags, man. I don't know. I think he's sitting off some flags. All right, let's go back to First Peter. Yep. I mean, we're gonna see what's what, man. These people, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was. That's how it was back in the day, you know. That's what back in the day. Yeah, the prophets would come and tell Israel, and they're like, man, whatever. Listen to that. That ain't gonna happen. It didn't happen right away.
Matter of fact, get him out of here.
It took some years for it to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I do see that balance with a lot of the people. I made that balance there.
I remember back in the day where you had women were talking about they want ending in their family, they want to mix up there trying to get the children to have
Good hair.
good hair.
Good hair.
Foolish, you know, pushing back in the day.
Everybody was mixed back in
They fall for that nonsense too.
Part Cherokee.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's what you mean. You know, they saying it. I got what you mean. Yeah, everybody was doing that.
They thought it was a good thing to do that.
Yeah.
Come to find out. Bad.
Yeah,
we got go ahead.
No, I'm saying like you say you mix Cherokee, I mean that necessarily means mixing, right? I mean,
Why not?
like it's like to be a real Cherokee, but still be like, you know, like they have to be so-called white.
Cherokee, they live with Chinese.
Mix with Chinese.
Asian.
They got Asian. Then there's North American. The ones that you see that call
Oh
themselves.
no! I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like Steven Seagal. Like, I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a real person, like what Dan Conway talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like an Indian. That's
Oh, they black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Cross between these two, right?
yeah. But I'm saying.
Judah.
Huh? Yeah. No,
Judah covered Judah.
no. Yeah.
These guys got straight hair. I mean, but not that dog hair they got.
They don't have straight hair.
More like kinky, but it's kind of kinky curly.
Wavy.
way to get it. If they put gel in it, then you can see the consistency, you know, coming out of them.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Con, First Peter's chapter 1, verse 3.
Verse 2.
Okay, verse 2. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father.
See that? They elect according to the foreknowledge. God already knew they were elect. They didn't just became elect now. God already knew they were going to be elect. Foreknowledge. Go ahead.
Through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ, grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
Right. Like it's unto obedience. Gotta be obeying Torah. And the sprinkling of the blood of Christ. You haven't been believing in Christ. So you get sanctified. Grace, again, favor unto you and peace be multiplied. Go ahead.
Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Hamashiach Yahushai from the dead.
Right. He has begotten us again. There's a second begotten. He's begotten all over again. That's you getting that spiritual body. God's going to beget you again and give you a spiritual body. This flesh, not begotten of God. Right? You got an earthly father. So you're going to be begotten again by the Most High. Go ahead.
To an inheritance uncorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you.
That's where it is. You can't go up there in this fleshly body. You have to get a spiritual body. God's gonna have to begot you. That's the whole born again thing that Christ spoke about in St. John chapter 3, verse 3. That's all we waiting to happen. Go ahead.
It's like it. And I just want to point out two things. Well, one thing in 2 verses. He says the same thing twice. Okay, this is for the Trinitarians. It's the same thing twice. God the Father, distinguishing it from Hamashiach Yahushai. Okay, so they're not the same. They're not the same. Okay. You have God the Father of our Lord, Hamashiach Yahushua, Jesus Christ. Okay, but they're not even on the same level. Okay, one is above the other. They're not co-equal. Or the same person, whichever way, because they believe in 2 different ways.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They're not co-equal, nor are they the same person. It's a hierarchy. The Father and the Son. Simple. Let's not complicate that.
Because they're gonna say that's when he was in the flesh. He was Jesus Christ. That's when he was in the flesh.
Right.
Now he back.
He's back to his fullest
He's
state.
back to his fullest state.
Yeah.
They don't say.
True oneness with the Most High.
They can argue all day that Jesus Christ is the flesh. That's when he came in the fleshly body, Jesus Christ. And now we're talking about right now where we at. He's reading this right now today. He's gonna say, well, he's the Father, he's back to the Father.
Is it already, but not yet? Is it already, but not yet?
That's Mike Holloway.
No, that's in this book, bro. That's in this book. I know where he's getting it from. It's this is a part of their theological teaching. That phrase, it's in this book.
Okay, but right, but that doesn't make no sense.
It doesn't, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm saying that Mike Holloway was saying that he got it from that book, but the saying does not even make any sense. Already means what?
It's done.
Then what's not yet?
It's not done yet.
Because it's done.
It's a conundrum.
It does. It's an oxymoron because you're saying it's already, but then you're saying not yet. You mean not yet, already. You gotta say it backwards. Either way you put it, it doesn't make no sense because both of them is contradicting each other. Because one is saying it already happened,
Right.
the other one is saying it didn't happen yet.
Come.
Already, but not yet. make no sense. These are people who are not led by the Spirit. They listen to man up in their head and
Yeah,
say what the dumb stuff.
That's how I heard the monks are taught, the mixed people, double tongue.
That's what they be saying. But it says he's smart, but not what he's saying. He's smart already, but not yet.
Fusion.
That's the confusion.
Yeah, but no.
I read it and I was like, oh, this is where you got it from.
We wrote it, but not yet.
Here it is right here, already not yet. A phrase scholars often use to summarize the early Christian perspective on God's future kingdom. Because we recognize that the coming Messiah has already come once, that Christ's resurrection is the first installment of the promised future resurrection, and that the gift of the Spirit gives us a foretaste of the future world we can speak of in an already dimension of the kingdom, as well as looking forward to its not yet consummation.
So is that kind of like their way of saying he declared the end, the beginning for the end? Working on.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're gonna say, but I don't understand already. I'm not saying I'm not saying it already happened. I'm saying it's ready to happen. It's already to happen, but it didn't happen yet.
Right, it's pending.
It's all pending, ready to happen. It's not yet.
Like the start already. It's like the starting point already.
But it isn't already.
With a period, already with a period.
How was it already?
Already denotes that it's done.
Gone.
Like it's all already. So think about you break down the word already. Already.
Well, he's saying that
Everything's done.
it's already to happen. The way they're gonna try to spin it and say it's already, but again, it's not already yet. It's not already. Because what we're still waiting for 144,000 to be sealed. Right?
What's the ready for fall Easter?
Let me see. Right. But it isn't already yet. Not already. We're still waiting for the Antichrist to show his face.
Right. Yeah.
That ain't already. Crazy. Let's continue. Phrase don't make no sense nowhere.
Thought you should know, man. If I come across some stuff, where they getting it from, bro?
Hey, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the 144,000 will be sealed before the Antichrist comes, or no?
Yes. Because once he comes on the scene,
It's 3.5.
it's only about 3.5 years left. Okay, how much that is outside for the month after.
Gotcha.
Because once he comes on the scene, he's gonna go and start killing a lot of Israelites. 3.5 years, he's gonna kill a lot of them. That's because he's gonna hunt them down, kill a lot of them. They say the text said you should have tribulation for 3.5 years. Right. That's what comes to me back. Right. All right, go ahead.
Well, read verse 4 again?
Come.
Okay. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 4. To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, preserved in heaven for you.
Right. So is it heaven for you, and how much Yahweh have a shot to come bring that to us? Go ahead.
Who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
The last time is at the end of the 6,000 years. End of the 6,000 years when Mashiach got a shot for the come. He got to wait for 1,000 years. For 7,000 years, then he got to go back up to the Most High. So the last time to be revealed is 6,000 years. Go ahead. And maybe even a little bit before that.
That just cut the already. But not yet.
You're right.
That verse right there just did it.
Right. We're just revealing the last time. Right. That's what you're Again, it might be even before that because Christ talks about it. He was time shine short.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. Wherein ye greatly rejoice through now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptation.
We are going through that. Go ahead.
that the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perisheth through it, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and our and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ.
Right. So you're getting your faith is being constantly tested. That's why a lot of people, bro, lose faith. They go through certain things, too much for them, give up. Right? Go through certain things and they blame God. Especially if they're praying and not getting an answer. Right? Things are not happening fast enough for them. Right? You're praying and I'm not getting an answer. That's not happening. Lose patience, lose faith, and you give up. A lot of people go through that kind of stuff. Right? You get tested and try to see how strong you are, see where you at. Like because he's trying to prepare you and give you something. That's the most high way. So you don't know my way. That's how I operate. That's how I operate. Christ didn't just get a kingdom. Did I not put him through something? Did I not test him? See where he was at? I put him through it. Right? He was what? Spit on, slap, a whole bunch of other stuff, made ridicule and all of that. Did I not put him through the ring? He passed and then boom. He got something. All right, go ahead.
Verse 8, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory.
Right. They have not seen Hamashiach Yahushua, but they love Hamashiach Yahushua. And these guys are believing. And to rejoice with joy unspeakable and with full glory. Everything is about you getting a full reward. Your full, everything full. You don't want part of it. Who wants part of it? What if someone you go to get your pay and give you part of your paycheck? You don't want that. You want your full paycheck.
Or raise.
You want your full paycheck. That's why you work your full 40 hours. Right? So what we're doing here, that's why we got to go finish our course. We want the full thing at the end. You can't go partially and then stop. It doesn't work. If you go partially and you stop, all that you did is going to be erased. It's going to be gone. You have to complete this thing all the way. That's why I tell people, if you decide you're going to do this, this isn't going to be, I'm going to go all the way. So you take your time and assess the whole thing before you get into it and make a decision. If you know you can't do it, then you shouldn't do it. Not for you, and it's not for you. Don't start and don't finish, because Christ says that anyone put their hand to the plow and turn back is not worthy for the kingdom of heaven. This is Christ's own word. You can put your hand to the plow and then turn back.
Like taking an oath and breaking.
Yeah, you're not worth it. So take your time. So you want to get a full reward. All right, go ahead.
Verse 9, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your soul.
See it is? That's the end of your faith. The salvation of your soul. That's where the battle ultimately lies. Satan is trying to win souls. Ultimately where it is. Satan don't care about riches and all that else. He give you all that. Ultimately, he wants your soul. That's what he wants. He will take you to hell. But he'll give you that little material stuff. So your faith is the end of your faith is the salvation of your soul. That's where the battle is. And many people we know have sold their soul to the devil. You heard people say that. I'll sold my soul to the devil and all that stuff that they say.
Kanye said it.
Who?
Kanye said it.
Kanye did that?
Yes, he said.
For
He
happy.
said,
You
show
say
us.
came with a few cracks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's just rap. Man. That's rap.
Yeah, so almost sold to the devil for a happy meal. I guess it came with two toys and a crappy deal.
Yeah, I think you just talking.
We got Jesus.
No, I'm just saying that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean that's just rap. If he really done that, he wouldn't say what he was saying. Women going to get fake Jews, women saying we Israelites.
right.
So that's going to get, that's a fact. I think he's rapping. He's just rapping. But I hope he's just rapping.
Right. I mean, that's what I was thinking. I hope he's laughing about that, but you never know.
DMX said it too.
I think DMX did.
He's pretty dark, but
Yeah.
I think Kanye might be and he probably did crossover.
Cross it like over again.
And he's bugged out now.
So,
In doing so, he's a little bugged. Well, I ain't even say he's bugged out. He's just arrogant. He's not even bugged out because he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's just arrogant, and then he's being hypocritical because he's still gonna mess with white people. He's gonna mess with the other nation. He's still gonna mess with them. I'm like, bro, that's your problem. Like you keep going and mess with them, and then they keep giving you headaches.
it sounds like he's under the belief that God created us all, and that's all that.
I'm still a Christian. He's not.
Yeah, he actually has his own religion. Like, he has his own church. I don't know what that church is about.
Jesus, what is that about?
This is the same dude that went on Joel Osteen's
Yeah, he sure did.
televangelist thing and had said that all the pride and all the arrogance that he put into his music, he's gonna use it for God now. This is the exact thing that he said. When clearly in Proverbs, Most High, it says that he hates pride and arrogance. Hates it.
Mm.
It's one of the 7 things that he hates.
Right.
So why would he use something that he hates for him in a righteous manner?
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
That's the pride and the arrogance of this God. You know, but I mean, yeah, he knows who we are. He knows who he is. Man, a lot of them rappers know. A lot of those rappers and entertainers, a lot of them know. They all don't always say it and come out with it or whatever, but they all know. A lot of them know. Because especially if they on the East Coast, because they deal with 5%ers and Nation of Islam. A lot of these dudes they're in the Nation of Islam. A lot of them are like Busta Rhymes. He's in the Nation of Islam. He knows, and the Nation of Islam affirms that we're the Torah tribe. So they get taught this. They just get taught a different version of it. Talk about the Sidi Yaqub, which is really Esau. So, because Sidi Yaqub is all about white. No, the Sidi Yaqub that they teach on the Nation of Islam is so-called white. Y-A-K-U-B, Yaqub. It does sound like Jake. That's why I thought at first too.
But he's a lab experiment done there, and that's how he got his white skin.
Yeah.
That's somebody completely different.
Yeah, that's what that's their version of how they teach.
That's how that one of the Israelites was saying that he said he moved on up from school. That's probably where he learned it from.
What book is that? That's not in the Quran.
I never even thought to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and one time he was waiting to go to Shabbat, one Israelite dude, he said, man, I heard about you guys in school, man, like you guys are real Israelites. That's what he said to us.
But they do teach from another book. What's the name of that other book they have?
The Hadith.
The Hadith. That's where it's at. It's in the
Oh, it's in there.
Oh, so so the Hadith is the Islamic version of the Talmud.
So Hadith are commentary.
Yeah, commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Talmud is. It's commentary on the law, right? So it's their version.
But they pick up stuff like this law.
Just like yeah, same thing. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. Or which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesies of the grace that should come unto you.
So the salvation and the salvation, the prophets in the past that was inquired, they wanted to know. You're doing this in other things. Yeah, and they searched diligently. Who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you? So they were prophesying that something's going to happen unto the dispersed abroad. This is what Peter is telling them. And they wanted to know Well, go ahead.
Searching
See,
what?
they were searching. See that? When the prophets were searching. That's the reason why Daniel had the book of Jeremiah. He was searching. And that's how he found out they would be in captivity for 7 years. He's searching. He's reading. He has the right.
And he just reading it, they're investigating.
Come.
That's what search is in Hebrew, is to investigate. So they can just read it, and you just read it, it was like, wait. Just like how we doing right now. Wow. Hey, hold on. They didn't have computers back then, so they had to go to the most high. They had to really, yeah, because they didn't have to. We got modern conveniences. They had to go to the most high. So imagine how much more praying that they did.
Nothing new. Go ahead.
Verse 11, searching what or what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify.
So they were searching what or what manner of time? Any goodness ending to this day? What time is he coming back? How many failed prophecies would have had? The prophets were searching what time he was going to come. We are searching what time he's going to come back.
Right.
They knew he was coming. They're going to figure, wait a minute, we're going to just coming. We came. This is where we at. The Spirit of Christ, which was in the Spirit of the anointed was in you. You want to say something?
No, I was going to say that same thing.
So the Spirit of Christ was in these men. It says it did what? Signify. It signified. Go ahead.
When it testified beforehand of suffering of Christ and the glory that should follow.
Right. So the spirit that was in these men, it signified and it testified the suffering of Christ. So these men understood that the Messiah was going to die. For some apparent reason, the Pharisees and the Sadducees in Jerusalem didn't know that these men were going to die first. But the prophets understood that this man is going to die first. They understood when this man will come, he's going to die, he's going to come back, and understood. The prophets understood that. So we see the Pharisees in them doing it because they don't have the Spirit of Christ in them. It's really that's the prophets in them. They have it. And that's the reason why when we read, Paul tells us that God has sent forth what? The Spirit of His Son. Can we read it? You see that God has sent forth the Spirit of His Son way back in the Old Testament time to do the same thing in the New Testament time. Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. These men had the Spirit of His Son in the Old Testament. I even heard this one guy was saying out that Christ was the last prophet. Jesus Christ was not the last prophet. There were prophets in the Jerusalem church after Christ had left.
I was going to call it a guy who was in the same place that Cornelius was from in Acts 18. Not Apollo, the guy before that. His daughter was prophesying. I forget their name.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it says their name, but I forget their father.
Was it Philip? Do we have Visions 4 and 4?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, can we get that?
Yeah, sure. Galatians chapter 4 and verse 4, and it reads, but when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth His Son, made of a woman, made under the law.
Go ahead.
Verse 5, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons.
Go ahead.
Verse 6, and because ye are sons, God hath sent forth the Spirit of His Son into your hearts.
into your mind, the spirit of his son into your mind, the same place where that was in the prophets who were searching. Send forth the spirit of his son into your mind. Go ahead.
Crying, Abba, Father.
Crying, Abba, Father. So that's what you have to have. Spirit of Christ. Same with the spirit of his son, which you got to have, right? Specifically, when people talk about getting the Holy Spirit, they're talking about getting the spirit of Mashiach Yahushua. So if you have the spirit of Mashiach Yahushua, you should be emulating that in how you talk and how you walk. That's how you know that these brothers don't have the spirit of Christ. They talk
Correct.
like that. They don't have the spirit. They don't talk like it. They don't move like it. Yet they're talking about Christ this and Christ that. All lip service. You have to have practice, and that's why Paul tells them, if you have the spirit, then you're none of his. You're the sheep of Christ, you're not a follower of Christ, you're just talking. Anyone who's talking about it, John and the truth, don't have the spirit of Christ. Right. Mary and Joseph, don't have the spirit. None of his. They got the spirit of Hasatan. All right, let's go back to let's continue down here in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 12.
And bring it. I just want to bring out another point with this too. That the prophets, when it says that they were searching for or what manner of time the spirit of Hamashiach was to come. So what they knew about his suffering, like the brother was saying. So that what it did was it behooved them to want to now search out, all right, after he comes, what is it going to be like in the kingdom? So this is why when you read that portion of the prophets, of the prophecies, it's one prophet has it like this, another prophet has it like that. They all got pieces of it. The Most High is not going to give it all to them. But they diligently searching it out. And the Most High, he's kind of like he's giving it in impartiality to them. But yet they want it all though. They're like, man, no, tell me more. Tell me more. Oh, Father, please tell me more. Some of them like, look, you know what? Seal those books, they ain't gonna know this. Write it down, but don't even write that down. You see what you said? Do not write that down. Because they can't know. I'm showing you this for you only. So that's why the prophets, they got it like that. Because they were searching out and the Most High gave them what he gave them in partial form. That's why Paul says that. But we know in part, we prophesy in part. Because we're only going to get it in partial form. Some going to have it more than others, but whatever partial piece you have fits into the overall puzzle.
That sounds like 4 quarters make a whole.
So but what moved them to do that? It wasn't nothing else. It wasn't about kissing the boot. It wasn't about none of that. It was the Messiah. He's supposed to be the one that drive you to want to know this stuff. He's the focal.
Need the glue. Keep it all together. Go ahead.
Verse 12, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us, they did minister the things which are now reported unto you.
They understand. They understand that, right? It was their understanding. It was revealed unto them. It was revealed unto them that's not unto themselves, not only just them only, but unto us, that they did minister the things which are now reported unto you. Go ahead.
By them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into.
Yeah, so the angels are looking into this thing. The angels are watching. They're watching what's happening on this earth. I think they're not looking, they're watching. They don't know they're watching because they're given assignments as well as research things, you know what I'm saying? Also, all kind of things. All kind of things. There's constant movement. There's constant movement up there all the time. So you know, you see what's happening already. So when the orders come, oh, I saw that. I'm like, okay, boom. Don't do this. Okay, boom. I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
But you know what? They're also like the prophets. Because you said it how like they're also looking to, they're also looking and searching too for what? That final day and hour, because no final day. So everybody's searching. Look, what you're being given instructions, but you're still waiting for that. You're still waiting, still watching, waiting for that, searching it out, trying to see, hey, when's it gonna come? So the angels got to do either watch over stuff because they're like, okay, when is this gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? So they got to keep a careful watch because they don't know when it's gonna happen.
And it's like you when you go into a movie and they're pulling for you. You're pulling for that the good guy to win, and bad guy to lose. You know what I'm saying? And the good guy mess up like, oh, come on, man. Come on, brother. You tripping right now, man. Come on.
Right. It's true, man. It's like they up there watching movies, bro. This is motion picture. Literally,
Yeah.
motion picture, bro. This is a motion picture. Yeah, we just a picture that's just moving, bro. That's all it is. A continual picture of moving.
I mean, you understand that. You play your role. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna play the role of the guy that died? Or play the role of the guy that lived? You gonna do it. That's the difference between you watching a movie where that's script for certain people is already original. They got to go ahead and act out. You have a choice to make a decision here to which way you want the situation to go.
It's always been the first black guy. The first black person died. Yeah. They actually make a movie like that where they kind of spoofing that or blacking or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a spoof where like they're trying to like now it's a bunch of black characters in a spoof scary movie and they're like, well, now that everybody's black in a scary movie, who's gonna die first?
Oh yeah, that's the thing I said. Trailer, I was like, that's not for you, like,
Yeah, I was seeing the billboards for it on the way over here.
Look,
Yeah. Your road, don't be the first to go.
You already seen the plan in the barrel already. You want to follow that. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 13. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind,
Gird up the what?
loins.
What?
Of your
Of
mind,
your what?
of your mind,
Of your mind. Loins of your mind. Gird that up. Loins of your mind. You need to prepare your mind into battle.
Mm-hmm.
People lose the fight right in the head. If you lose in the head, you're done. Double for you if you lose the battle in the head, you're done. Right? People say if I can control the mind, I can control the body. You have to win the battle in the head first. So gird the loins of your mind. Go ahead.
be sober,
Go ahead.
and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Hamashiach Yahushua.
At the revealing of Christ. Right? Don't give up. Don't make mistakes. You gotta bounce back. Some people make mistakes and think that's the end. Oh, I can't make it, man. I don't get this, man. I you know. As long as you still alive, bro, you still have a chance. When your number is called, and that's when it ends, right? You say you didn't do it to the end. As long as you here breathing, you still have a chance.
It ain't too late.
It ain't too late. Right? Some people give up before that time. And that's not true. The end is when you stop breathing. That's the end, right? That's when everything stops. That's when you stop sinning, right? They say he that is dead and stop sinning. Because now you're gonna go get judged. What if you didn't do it? But as long as you're here, man, you have to consistently be putting in that work to show the Most High in Christ, man. I want to get in. I want to get. What are you doing to show them? I want to. They looking at you. You want to get in? Show me. Where is it? I'm looking. Say you want to get in, but I mean, what are you doing though? I don't think you want to do it. Right? And you look at, I don't think you want to do it. What are you doing? Huh?
You'll be with Esau.
Yeah. But that's how they do you when they're trying to, when you want to try out for a team, they looking to see what you're doing on the field. They watching you, they're scouting you and see, let me see, you want to get in, you're working on the game, you're doing this, doing the right thing, off the court, no issues, good, they're watching everything, they're watching you off the court too. They're not watching you when you come to Shabbat, they're watching you when you leave Shabbat. What's going on, you're doing in his house, what are you doing over here? He said, oh man, he ain't trying to get in there. He come to the Shabbat acting like he got so much shot, he leaving doing some other stuff. I mean, he ain't fooling me. I see everything. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourself according to the former lust in your ignorance.
Yeah, see, going back to the former lust is in your ignorance, when you didn't know no better. Going backwards, right? Jay-Z said you got hustling backwards. Zaryak hustling backwards. He came out of a world. Waiting to connect. I'm connecting. It looks like. Shabbat shalom, William Wheeler. Shabbat shalom, bro.
Shabbat shalom. How y'all brothers doing?
Good. Shabbat shalom. We're in First Peter chapter 1. We have verse 14 now. First Peter chapter 1, verse 14. So yeah, so Zaryak, he came out of a world of where there was vulgar talking. You can have more than one woman. You can act crazy and do all that stuff.
Well, I don't know if you count was actually, they said that, country, so they have one, so I don't know if that's true.
He came out of a world that's what they're doing in that world, right?
Oh, yeah. You get permission with some stuff to come out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Right. You telling these men, right? You can only have one woman, right? Or one wife, right? Is that what they're doing?
No.
That's not what they're doing. That's the world they came out of, right? That's the world they came out of. The world that he was vulgar talking on, that's the world he came out of, right? He claimed he's in the truth.
Right.
We're doing the exact same thing.
Well, no, he's not doing that. He's using the Bible.
But that's even worse. Yeah. That's even worse. You're not taking the word. If I'm taking the word of God and lying on the word of God to do wicked things, I was doing it's even worse. You know what I'm saying?
But do you think he's doing it like?
Say again?
Do you think he's doing it deliberately, or is he blinded? He's doing it by being blind.
I think he's doing some of it deliberately and some of it blind. I think he's doing some of it deliberately and some of it blind. There is no difference from where he was. There is a little bit different, but he's still doing some of the same thing that he was doing in the world. You know what I'm saying? Some of the same thing. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourself according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Right. See that? You got to be holy in all manner of conversation. Do you think Zaryak read this?
I mean, I would assume that he would.
Is he applying it?
I mean, like,
Part-time.
I mean, he would justify by saying like, you know, what does student say, like, you know, rude speech and all that stuff, you know, so. You know,
So what he would be doing is putting a verse against another verse.
Yeah.
This verse says beholding all conversation, right?
Ah.
And he uses another verse, well, this verse says the opposite. Speak to me. Which one is it?
Or we all fall short of the glory.
And which one is it? Listen, you can make any kind of excuse you want to make. For whatever you're doing. If you're gonna fly with the Most High, is the thing. Right? You can go and say, man, I just man fall 7 times. You can go, you can say whatever you want to say. The question is, who do you think you're fooling? What, you think God don't know? Who you fooling? Who you trying to lie to? You just lying to yourself. All you doing. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. All you doing, playing yourself. If you believe that's gonna fly with the Most High, something wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 16, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
That's Torah. So we see here that Peter is quoting the Torah. The same thing so-called Christians claim is done away with. How are they quoting Torah if it's done away with? I'm trying to get a debate right now with this young brother that's claiming he's told Hebrew Israelites. The debate is was calling an apostle teaching the Torah or teaching some Christian doctrine.
oh, what happened with you in the debate league?
Man, I don't even know. I haven't heard anything from Black Jesus Minister at all. Nothing, nada, zero. I don't know what's happening.
Have you seen it? They been posting nothing?
I didn't see nothing been posted.
Wow.
What they do. Oh, it's a sad thing. Go ahead.
So, so you said in the Torah, read that verse again, verse 16.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
All right, so it's in three distinctive places in the Torah, Leviticus 19 and Leviticus 20. Right? Now Leviticus 19 deals with a lot of speech conduct about tail bearing and stuff like that, right? So it deals with speech conduct within it. Okay. It's also in Leviticus 20. Okay, that's the same chapter that goes into, wizards and stuff like that. Not lying with mankind, these stuff like that. Right, so it's dealing with all that. Other place that be ye holy, for I am holy, is in dietary law. Leviticus 11. That's in it. At the end of it. So what is Peter saying here? Because remember, he's dealing with the Torah, so he can only draw from that to give the understanding. Your speech cannot be abominable. If you speak in a certain manner, it's an abomination to the Most High. It's like you eat unclean food. You got to be set apart even in a conversation. You can't have abominable speech.
Right.
It's not what goes in a man with that fouls you.
What comes out. What comes out. So I'm like, come. So this is why even before, gird up your loins. Prepare your mind. Because your mind, and the loins, it actually deals with procreation in its physical form, but he's talking about the mind. So your mind is producing fruit. It's able to produce things. Just like your general area is able to produce seeds. Your mind produces things. It's going to produce words, thoughts, and actions. You got to prepare your mind to not be in that abominable state. If you can't have swine coming out of your mouth. Like you can't have that.
Right.
Can't have unclean speech coming out of your mouth. Which will be lies, which will be pride and arrogance, things he hates. Talks of like killing people and stuff like this. All that speech just talking about sin. like in that way, saying like you're gonna do things, you're this, you're that, you still carry on an action through your speech. There's still an action that gets carried forward. Now you spoke. You know how the Most High deals with our tongue. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. They that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So your speech cannot be abominable. It's got to be set apart. So like the brother was saying, you can't be in the world talking this way and you come in this and then you still like saying and doing the same thing, basically. Now you're using the Bible to justify it. Bro, what that supposed to change? Supposed to be set apart, even in our speech. Speech conduct is extremely important. That's where it starts at. From there, it goes into, it's gonna feed into, now you're carrying it out. Now you did it. You said it and now you did it. So it's a domino effect. So it's like Paul said, I mean, no, not Paul, James, you break one, break them all. You start that with your mouth, next thing you know, you do this, you do that. It's a slippery slope. You start in one place, and before you know what you're doing, you're breaking a bunch of other ones. It just creates a domino effect. It doesn't just start at one. So you go.
No. But talking, that's like word swine word, filthy word. Like verbal swine. When you curse them, verbal swine. Verbal swine.
Doesn't he say it later about the communication? That's not gonna let it proceed out of your mouth.
You read it earlier.
You read it earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was don't talk to have a holy communication. Right. Be holy in all manner of conversation. Yeah, that's very good.
Now there's another where it says specifically let no communication proceed from your mouth.
That's in Corinthians. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of person judgeth according to every man's work.
How does God judge you?
Without respect to person.
He judge you according to your works.
Yeah.
Right? Christians say it ain't about works. It's about works. That's how he's judging you. You gotta have works.
It's gonna bring every work into judgment, whether it's
You're good or your work.
Every work. Don't matter.
Right? Go ahead.
According to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourn here in fear.
That's it. Pass the time of your sojourn here in fear. The scriptures say, fear God and keep his commandments. Right? Ecclesiastes 12. Pass your time here in fear. That's fear God and keep his commandments. And of course, believe in the Mashiach Yahushua. The Lord and Savior. That's where you pass your time. See, the reason other people get go wrong, they have lost the element of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Satan tells you what's the motto of Satan? What does it do? Do what thou will.
Do what thou will.
Do what thou will. Yeah. You can do whatever you can do. You can do whatever you want. That means there's no fear.
You got beat on that one, dog.
I wouldn't know you beat on that one, bro. You don't want to go out.
Wow.
Truth going out.
Do what thou will.
Wow. We all heard that one. That was not a coincidence.
Saying that is intent. Do you know Satan follow law? You know he does. He can do what he will. He'll tell you that nonsense.
Right.
Wow. Right.
Wow.
He'll tell you that nonsense. When God tell him to do X, Y, Z, he can't go above and beyond that because God told him don't kill Job. He wanted to kill Job, but he couldn't.
Right.
Listen, even he follows God's instruction. All right.
That makes sense though. But okay.
But he'll tell you not to. That's how contradictory he is. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, how he fall from grace if he keep the law?
How does he what?
How did he fall from grace if he keep the law?
Pride.
Serve that ball right back over the net. Yeah,
Pride. Ultimate. Pride. That's what it was.
So he just so puffed up in how God created him, like his beauty and all of the things that God gave him. He's like, well, this is enough for me. I'm trying to go over where you at.
That same spirit is out here, though. It's the same spirit that's out here. I know I was bitch. Man, most times you ain't nothing, bro.
Watch. Right.
You ain't nothing, bro.
Right.
You need to get off your hind horse. You ain't nothing. I mean, even for women, Proverbs 31, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. You ain't nothing. Most I don't care about how good you look.
Let's go.
Yeah, Satan's the same way. That same vibration goes out. It's even worse. I'm a bad bitch.
He called himself a B word.
Yeah,
Rated
young
himself.
fly dude. I'm a young fly dude. You ain't got Hebrews doing that. I'm a young fly Hebrew. So you're nothing. We in captivity, bruh. You ain't no young fly Hebrew. Right. We are nothing. Dudes getting on their high horse, man. I mean, we are princes. I mean, look, if it's in the words, it's in the word. But like, bro, you are nothing. You're only what the Most High makes you. Just speak His word, and that's it.
Listen, you're not a prince and nothing. You operate like a prince. We love using these words, but don't live it. How are you a cop when you commit crime? You a cop? What are you now? You're a criminal. You're a criminal. That's what you're a criminal. You can't talk about how you a prince and you're acting like a prince. You're not a prince.
You're a peasant.
People that claim these words but don't want to act like it.
What up, King?
Right, huh? Oh, you a king? What up, king?
Yeah.
What up, God?
You know what kings do? They search His book out. That's what they do, like the prophets.
Yeah,
They search His book out. That's Proverbs 25 and 2. The glory of God to conceal a thing is the honor of a king to search it out. That's what kings do.
But instead, you want to call kings so they wise work and they sit at home.
Yeah. That's a lot. King without a kingdom, without servants, without nothing. King got 9 to 5. Wow. What up, king? Gotta go to work.
Right.
Gotta go to work. Hey, all right, king. See you later, king.
You a king, but you serving somewhere.
Yeah.
You doing service.
You gotta work that graveyard.
King was 9 to 5. That's all I heard.
5:30 to 2 in the morning.
Great. Hey, funny as ever. King.
It's like, no, you know better. You gotta go work the graveyard. 10 to 6, bro.
Pay bills, put food on the table, roof, everything. King gotta do all that.
King gotta go to
You
court.
can't even make the decrees and pass law. That's what kings do. They make decrees and establish law within the confines of their rulership. They got a problem doing that. Brothers got a problem doing that in their own house.
Wow. You ain't even the king of your own house. Wow.
Just keep it real.
Over the court case. Yeah. All right, king. You in court. What Esau saying? Esau, all right, king. You in court. We're gonna see you coming in with a crown.
Some of these guys, man, they get in their mind like Most High need this stuff. Like, Most High don't need you. Right? He was ready to wipe out the whole nation and make a whole new line of Moses. He don't need you, man. Like, he don't need you. He will get rid of you. You are very expendable, bro. You ain't that special. Right?
Go ahead, brother.
Did we finish 17?
Yep.
Okay. Verse 18. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers.
Yeah. You wasn't redeemed with corruptible things, meaning that the beginning they didn't give gold, redeem you, something like that. From what? some these vain conversations. What you be hearing on that clubhouse? What's a vain conversation going on? Something ain't going nowhere. Received by tradition from your father. And this, again, Peter is here referencing the oral Torah. Tradition is the oral Torah. What is referencing? That's a bunch of vain traditions, stuff like that.
Because they say it's commentary. It's vain conversations. Wow. I never even realized that. Wow. I never realized that.
I mean, vain meaning is worthless. Right? It's not helping nobody. It's helping you. These Hebrew Israelites, they all pack up on this line and they get kicked out of it. They love this, want to go at Christian. Oh, Christian. That's all they want to do all day long. Right? That's all they want to do. Oh, the Christian is bad. The Christian is good. That is not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be trying to edify these Christians. Show them where they're wrong. But I know you was taught in Christianity is what the Most High said, is what Christ said. I'm gonna give you what they said. It's up to you to not take it and do what you want to do with it. But I'm not here to make you look bad. I'm here to laugh at you. This is what they get up there and try to do. They're not putting that operating in the spirit of Christ, bro. They're not trying to edify, educate people. Trying to make you look bad and they laugh and giggle about it. They think the Most High Christ is happy with it, how they can look at themselves. He's delusional. But that's why the Most High said, you have not known me. You don't know me. You don't know my way. That's not my way. I don't understand these brothers sometimes. They forget where they came from. You used to be there. You used to be in darkness too. You want someone to just clown you and because you know more than this person, you want to use it to make them look bad. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're supposed to be helping. That's why I tell our talk, we got to get on this off from this information out, start doing some balance of foolishness that these brothers and sisters are out there doing on this clubhouse, bro. They're misleading our people. We gotta come with some balance. All right.
I'm really calm.
Right, go ahead, brother.
All right. Verse 19. Or did I finish 18, right?
Come.
19. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot.
Right. Christ had no blemish and he had no spot. That's on every level, physical and spiritual. On every level. Go ahead.
Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in the last times for you.
Right. This was foreordained before the overthrow, right? Before the ruin, overthrow and the ruin, that he was going to come and do this. But it was manifest in these last times for you. Most High already saw what the nation of Israel was going to be. He's already ordained that Christ is going to come and do that. This was before the overthrow. I can go all the way back before we read Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, or in the time of Noah when it comes to the flood. Because both of those things can be considered an overthrow. Will both be flooded on with water. Genesis 1 and 2 said the earth was flooded with water. Genesis 7 goes up into the whole earth flooded with water again in the time of Noah. Those are both in overflow. You can pick one. All right, go ahead, brother.
21. Who by him do believe in the Most High that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in the Most High.
Right. So that's who we have our faith in. We have our faith in the Most High in Christ. Go ahead.
Seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently.
Right. We don't. Again, that's why. Again, they so-called Christians are still their brothers and sisters. They act like they don't love these so-called Christians. They act like they the enemy or something. That's your brother that's just out there just in some ignorance. You're supposed to be looking at him. You're supposed to look at him like that. Man, that's my brother, my sister, man. Let me try to help you edify. They make it a thing to make a room interesting by one of battle. For the battle of Christians. Christian this, Christian that. And not knowing that they're operating out the spirit. You're getting justified. So it's supposed to be unfeigned love of the brethren. See that you love one another with a pure heart, fervently. Why don't we get on there and teach these things?
That's important too. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's in the chat.
Someone in the all right, so I got who's that? Who's KM?
Oh, that's
I don't even know. That's it?
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, that's the brother, the brother Simmons. He just moved down there.
Oh, okay, that's KM?
King something. Oh,
King elect.
yeah, I think you think. Oh.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 23. Being born again.
Being what?
Born again.
Being born again. That's being a second birth. Having a second birth. Go ahead.
Not of corruptible seed,
Now you being born again, but not of sperm, a man's sperm. Go ahead.
but of incorruptible,
But of incorruptible. The incorruptible seed, incorruptible sperm. Go ahead.
by the word of the Most High,
So it's coming through the word of the Most High,
which liveth and abideth forever.
which is liveth and abideth forever. That's what you're trying to, that's why I tell you words again to read, that the word of God inside of you. Get the incorruptible word of God inside of you. That's going to, it's your process of being renewed or being born again. You have to get it inside of you. If it ain't inside of you, you say, well, if you in Christ, you're a new creature. If you're in Christ, you're a new creature. If you're in Christ and Christ is the word, then you have the word inside of you. Right? If you cannot have Christ inside of you if you don't have the word of God inside. You just can't believe in the word inside of you. You have to literally read and get it inside of you. Yes, sir.
I chuckled because, man, I really thought that's how it worked. You just believe on Christ and,
That's it.
that's it. There's no word, just believe.
Some people believe that too. Like that's what they teach in those churches. They teach that to the point where it's like the folks don't read. They just believe with all emotion.
Yeah.
They have emotional belief, and what's happening is this word. It's got to be. This is the process of reading is what imprints the information inside of it, because that memory. That's why we're commanded to Zakar, to remember. And how do you help yourself remember? You go back and you read, you study. It helps you to remember the information because you do lose it. Yeah, you do gotta mention it because you do lose the information.
Satan pull it out your head.
Yeah, so that's why you gotta keep reading. I mean, and then it's just in the process of time, the mind just doesn't retain it.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
You get right. You start to lose your faculties after you get older, so you gotta imprint as much information from this word as you can so that you can carry it out throughout your lifespan. Because if not, then you're just gonna be moving according to your own will, or you left to your own mind. And Jeremiah tells us the mind is definitely wicked.
You get 1 John 3 and 9. You go home, we have the first one. Let's get 1 John chapter 3, verse 9. It's the next book over. After the second week. 1 John chapter 3, verse 9. This is another verse that refutes Christ coming to set. I mean, they don't see it. Because they don't, it's not gonna let Christ do it. You got 1 John chapter 3, verse 9.
I got it.
Go ahead.
1 John chapter 3, verse 9 reads, whosoever is born of
I'm
God,
gonna go real slow. Whosoever is born of God. Whosoever is born of God. Go ahead.
does not commit sin.
Does not sin. Don't sin. That's where we are trying to get to. We're trying to get, that's why he talks about you have to be born again. You're gonna be born again to the point where what?
The sons of God.
You're not gonna sin no more.
The sons of God doesn't sin.
Ultimately. No, the son of God is born of God. You have son of God that's not born of God. Angels are called sons of God, but not born of God. They're made. They sin. We don't angels sin, right? So this process that we're talking about is a process that's greater than the making of the angels. They're made,
Right.
but they're not begotten of God.
Right.
We're talking about a process greater. And that's another reason why the angels are doing what? Watching. I want to see this. I got to see this.
Wow.
This I need to see.
Wow.
Because they're saying, they know, like, wait a minute, what?
Wow.
Wait, I got to see this. Hold up. I'm watching.
So that means some of the angels felt how Satan felt without the prod. People while he watching us, like, yeah, you said that dirt right there gonna get it right. Yeah, I got to see that. And they rooting us on though, like I want to see him get
Oh,
it
yeah,
right.
yeah. Because what? They understand, because when you read the scriptures, the angels tell us, I'm gonna be your brother. They're your brother, right? And we read that if you hate your brother, you're a murderer.
Right. Right.
Angels like, no, they're my brothers, man. I want you to go get it. Let's go.
Right.
They're not like, yeah, nah, I want you to get it. They're not moving like that. They're moving in the spirit of love.
Right.
So they cheering you on.
That's why it says the angels rejoice in heaven when
Yeah. They're not against you. They're like, well, I want to see that too.
Wow.
it's a joy to see them in your success.
God,
It's a joy for them to see that.
they pulling for us, man.
Wow. Hey, that's something to get happy about right there, yo. Right
When
there.
you think-
That's it.
You see, now I need to hear that because even when you think that you ain't got nobody supporting you, man,
Wow.
angels on your side.
That made me feel something right there, yo. That was good.
They want you. They do. They
Wow.
That's really, your spiritual brother.
And everyone else is left.
thing.
Yeah, you still got those spiritual forces that way.
Huh?
You gotta believe it.
Right there, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you do it from the beginning again?
Sure. Verse 9 it says, whosoever is born of God does not commit sin.
So we know who that only fits one person.
Come.
Only one.
Come on.
He's the only one born of God. Be clear. Go ahead.
For his seed remaineth in him.
For his seed remain in him. For God's seed remain in him. The seed is the word. It remains in you. It's the word, the seed that remains in you that's preventing sinning. Remains in you. That's why if you continue to read what it does, it builds you up more and more. And you can watch yourself sin less and less. Watch, do it. The more of this in you, the less you're going to sin. Try it and see. This word inside of you, what's it going to do? It's going to stop stopping you from sinning. You're gonna say, can't do that. Can't do that. Can't say that. It's gonna stop you. Because it's in you. And you're gonna listen because it's in you. You wanna start sinning less? Get more Bible inside. Watch it work. So the seed is in you, his seed remain in him. Go ahead.
And he cannot sin.
And he goes even further to say you can't even sin. Because it's preventing you now from sinning. It's literally stopping you. You cannot sin. Why?
Because he is born of the Most High.
Because he's born of God. Because he's born of God. There is something there that's completely changing you. What happened? What changes? It is how you begin to perceive the act. You begin to perceive the act as something that, I won't do that. It becomes something, no. Your perception of it or your disgust for it makes you not even want to even contemplating even doing that. So you won't even do it. Because you fully understand what that is. You look at it as, oh, that's corruption. You want to corrupt yourself? You wouldn't do nothing like it. Right? Lying is corruption. Violating high holy days is corruption. Oh, that's corruption. So you wouldn't do none of it. That's the level you want to come to when that seed gets inside of you, and you cannot sin because he is born of the Most High God. That's the level we try to get to. This completely refutes this nonsense about Christ coming to sex.
Oh, that's good. How you
All
did
that
that.
Christ has to be that way. He has to be that way, otherwise he has to blemish. He has to be that way, he has to be that way. If he were to commit sin, he would be done. Done that, right?
Like Moses. He wasn't blemish, but like the blood on his hand.
Yeah, you done that. Finished. Even if you have any kind of inclination that you want to move or do some sin or whatever, that word is going to swing you back. It's going to swing you back correct. That's what you need.
Did that go part to that's why no forgiveness of blasphemy the Holy Ghost. Like you knew exactly what you were, it was selfish, but you know what you was on.
Right. You have the Holy Spirit, it's part of the word, the down payment. We still have not got that birth from heaven. Born again. That was in those 1 John?
Yeah, it was it.
All right, let's go back on 1 Peter. Let's finish it off here.
First Peter's chapter 2, and what will we?
Chapter 1, verse 24.
Oh, chapter 1, verse 24.
Yeah.
It says, "For all flesh is as grass."
Yeah, that's what the bar was saying earlier. It's nothing.
Right.
Right? What happened with grass?
It withers.
You mow it down, another one grow up. But all you gonna what? Oh, y'all crazy? Let me clear y'all out. Other one's gonna grow right back up. Do something. All flesh is grass. Go ahead.
The grass withereth, and the flowers thereof fell. Let me read 24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass.
Is right. And all the glory of man is like the flower of the grass, right? As we had a little bit of beauty, right? It doesn't last, right? You have a moment where you're at your death, right? You make your best dress that day or whatever is going on. Your hair cut, lined up, everything is good, right? It's a little flash there, right? Especially in your youth, a little flash there, right? Go ahead.
The grass withereth, and the flowers thereof falleth away.
All of that fades away though, right? Doesn't last. I don't stay consistent. Go ahead.
But the word of the Lord endureth forever.
Yeah, actually, that don't fade. That ain't going nowhere. That ain't losing its luster. It ain't losing its force. None of that. Right? Before we even born, this thing said what it said. Right. Man, what it meant. Right? It was not diminishing or anything like that at all.
2,000 years.
Longer than that.
Come.
Longer than that. Ain't going nowhere. Right? Go ahead.
And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you.
This is the word by the gospel. Preached unto you. The gospel is the Torah. Let no one fool you. When you hear gospel, you hear Torah. Torah is gospel. It's the exact same thing. Gospel is not nothing new.
I thought it was the gospel.
Oh,
Gospel.
that's new. The gospel, that's new.
Right.
That's new. Michael Irvin. I come and give you the gospel. So you keep that gospel.
Right.
Get out of here. He's the gospel. He gonna gospel the car with and with nothing. The gospel all day.
Preaching the gospel.
Sweating and everything.
Sweating and everything.
Boy,
And then
calm
bright suits
down.
you got on.
Because they won the game, you all excited.
Right. Great. All right, go ahead, brother.
Chapter 2. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisy and envies and all evil speaking.
See that? They have not laid all these things to the side.
Right.
They're still God is deceit. They're still out here deceiving people. They're still dealing with malice. They're still being hypocrites. Still got envy.
Swine speech.
Huh?
Swine.
Swine speak.
Right.
Yeah. Evil speaking. You put the lay all that stuff to the side. Get rid of that. Go ahead.
As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
Right. You need the sincere milk of the word. Sincerity. People that are not, we don't need to operate in sincerity. They're not dealing with that. They're not dealing with the sincere milk of the word. The sincere milk of the word, it starts off and leads you to the point where it says it's love. You're supposed to be learning this word to help, not to belittle, not to demean. This is not why he called you on the darkness to do. You're supposed to be an example. You're supposed to be to help. If you ain't helping, what you doing?
Adding to the problem.
You adding to the problem. That's all that you're doing.
And hurt yourself.
And hurting yourself. You end up being a castaway. They forgot they're supposed to be helping. What did Christ came here for? What did Christ come to do?
Right.
Came to help.
Right.
They missing it. It's about helping. Our people is in a bad condition and they need help. They're taking advantage of our people, making nothing less of them and all of that. I've been stopping it, brother. When the Most High decided they're going to start at my house, then he said, oh, okay, it's time to start. Okay, it is.
Definitely comes to America first. First, these guys definitely comes to America first. But in the house,
It's so crazy.
this would be his first stop.
There's a person talking about he saw what he's doing and he's not looking at you. What are you doing? Worry about him. Worry about him. You don't worry about you. What's gonna happen to you? When you gonna end up? You think if God gonna judge Esau, he ain't gonna judge you? When does that ever happen? That never happened. You ain't going unpunished.
Clean up the backyard.
That's how to show you how these brothers have these brothers distracted from the point. What they see focused on. They're distracted. They're caught up in all the we got with the awakening. Now we're ready to Israel. You know, Israel, now what? Now what? Okay, you follow your Israelite. Now what? Who's gonna do now with it? You gonna go vote and brag you an Israelite? Really? What you gonna go do with it? I'm God's chosen. Really? Who you gonna go do with it? You gonna go talk about other people? Who you gonna go do with it? These people are missing the point. You're supposed to be a Christ. He says Christ is the express image of God. When you wake you up, you're supposed to be. I gotta represent that. That's what I gotta represent. That's what God's looking for. He wants to see Him in you. He don't see it. Isn't that what a father want to see in his son? Or even in his daughter? If he don't see what, how does he feel?
Embarrassed, ashamed.
Yeah. These brothers don't know who they are. Like Christ told the disciples that. He said, if you caught on fire of heaven and burn them up, Christ said, you don't know what type of spirit you are of. You don't know what spirit you are of. For the Son of Man ain't came in to kill man's life, to save life. I said, I came to save life, not destroy it. I'm locked into. I know why I'm here on the mission. You are flipping out. I'm not here to do that.
That's why he was like, he told them both parties gotta be here. I'm not just gonna stone her. Y'all want me to do.
Yeah, Christ, I come to save lives, not destroy them. People that they missing why God woke them up. The thing God woke them up to be loud mouth and I'm the best better and I'm not. Why he woke you up? Why he woke you up? Meant to see you. That's why I tell brothers, read it for yourself. You gotta believe me. Read it for yourself. It's gonna tell you. And if we get the same thing, we can move. Because we read this Bible and get all kinds of different things from it. This one get that, this one get this one get that. And I see that as the Most High dividing them up. Because they're getting it, and then what happens with that? They start to just not applying it. The deviation comes with the lack of application. That's where he started to divide you off. So you know, you read it, you know what it said, you can do it, let me see if you don't do it. If you don't do it, divide him off. Divide her off. Divide that one off. Because you'll be rebellious, you don't want to listen. You don't read it for yourself and saw it, you won't do it, divide him off. Would you see when they divide off? What crazy doctrine comes up. They want to read but don't want to apply. Oh, this thing will separate you. How is it reading the same book? We have all these different understandings of the book and the same spirit. Where is it happening at? It is happening in the application. I'm telling you, they are not applying what this book says. And so God weed them out. Yes, sir.
Have you heard about the LGBT ministers that are out there now?
Come, I heard about this.
I was like, wait a minute. And then they ask them questions about the Bible and they don't know nothing. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Oh, you know what they're calling Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20, Romans 1, and 1 Corinthians 6? You know what they call those scriptures now? Clobber scriptures.
What's that?
Clobber scriptures. They call them clobber scriptures.
Clobber.
Yeah, because those are the scriptures that cut homosexuality. He's like, yeah, we know about those. Those are clobber scriptures. That's what they call them, man.
What do they mean by clobber scripture?
I guess.
I mean, clobber would beat them over the head or something, right?
Right. Over the top.
What they're doing, yeah. So they're using those scriptures. They're saying, yeah, you got to be in the clobber scriptures, but you're using these scriptures to beat us over the head.
Like we bash.
But God is love.
All of it.
God is love. Tell him to explain the flood. Hey, go ahead, brother.
I just shalom, Shabbat shalom, brothers.
Shalom.
I wanted to just add in on what you guys were saying about these people talking about clobber scriptures. That it's like what I've been seeing as you guys been talking about the word being in you, leading by example and not by lip service is major now, because people need to see the word live in effect. Like what you guys been ministering, this is my first time really being on speaking, but I'm like, I deal with people on a regular basis, and one thing that I see is that this word impact people positively or negatively, you know, because they know what they're doing wrong. I'm talking about the preachers.
Right.
For the LBGT.
Right.
God is not a man, he should be mocked. That's all.
You gotta set up to deceive. Coming up with all kind of phrases to try to reflect on what you're supposed to be doing. Clobber scripture.
I heard that for the first time. I heard that about like a month ago. What they calling it now? I was like,
Who's that? Who's saying that?
I was actually in, where did I hear that? Oh, I was in Yuan's Shabbat class, and he had played some videos that he was doing a lesson on what is love. He was like an updated lesson. You know, because we know about, saying, if you love me, keep my commandments. You know, so we know these basic scriptures, but if you brought it up to date with how they're teaching love now, currently. And this is what they're doing. Because they're trying to be inclusive with the alphabet community. So they're trying to be inclusive with them by saying that those scriptures are clobber scriptures that everyone runs to, but God is love. So and it was like a few pastors, it was like, that got like ministries and stuff that I don't know if they do mainstream, because there's no stream now. So, there's just some of the Gentile pastors, preachers, I was saying.
There's a so-called Israelite pastor out there now too. He has, so you can't get into heaven if you're gay. I didn't click on it. That was the headline of that title.
You can't get it right. That's what came in there like that. Anything in there like that. There's no one else there like that. Absolutely. Right. So where were we at? Again, you got to help, man. You got to help. Christ taught that it's better to give than to receive. That's helping again. So if you ain't helping, you follow the Father, man. It's just sad. The people in my community is like, they were so happy to have woken up to their identity, without understanding that they have fallen right back into a lot of ignorance. And for some people, they are even worse than they was before in their ignorance. They've got even worse than it was in their ignorance.
Right.
Yeah, more powerful than it was when they didn't know. It's like for some of them, it's better that they didn't know. Yeah, it's like they've gotten worse. You know what I'm saying? Because before there was in their ignorance, right? It wasn't about, oh, the white man, the devil, and it wasn't about that. Now they're woken up into the thing. Now, like that's all they be focusing on. And forgetting about their own brothers and sisters who's evil in their community. And they focus on the wrong thing. Worry about him. God gonna handle him. You need to worry about you and your people. Where can you help? Where can you be comfortable? You know what I'm saying? That's where it's supposed to be focused on. Worry about Esau. Stop it, bro. Listen, kind of worried about him. You can't change him. He's doing him. You gotta do you. All right, where was we at? Can we go back?
We First Peter chapter 2, verse 3.
Go ahead.
If so, be ye. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get that. If so, be ye have taste that the Lord is gracious.
Yeah. You know the Lord, you know that they have faith of the Lord is the Lord is gracious, because if he wasn't, he was going to send Christ. He wanted to send Christ. I like taking these old songs, and I'll be swapping the words out for people. Right? I'll do it without it, so I'm gonna rap something. Nah, they talking about it. I just swap it out for it. I took that word, that song from you wrong. One in a million, you heard it wrong? When you wrong. I take that song, I swap it out for Most High Christ real quick. You know what I'm saying? The song goes like some love, show compassion, right? Show compassion. And brother, love, one in a million, right? Who did he show compassion on? Israel, right? And brought us what? Truth, Christ. You showed compassion. One in a million, what? Instead of saying one in a million, you, one in a million, truth. Christ. You showed compassion for us. That's how that song should have went.
Nah, it's songs I like that one called Bring Me a Higher Love.
Bring me a high love.
Bring me a higher love. That's not it.
I know what he said. Yeah. Right. One in a million truth. Yeah, you go hear that song and you swap that out for the Most High in Christ. You see that song way better. Way better. Right. That's what the Bible talks about. Singing songs and psalms for the Most High God. Take all that fun stuff out and swap it into the personal study of the Bible. So become way better. But now you're singing of what the Most High did with Christ. See what the Most High did for the nation of Israel, what he did for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Most High had compassion, brother. Well, not only Israel, but everybody. Everybody. Okay? And all of it. Somebody that just went too far, you have to get rid of it. You know how long he gave another nation. 120 years. You have that compassion and mercy, but 120 years doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. So if so, we have tasted that the Lord is gracious. Go ahead.
To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious.
Right, so that's Christ. Christ is a living stone, not a dead one. He was disallowed indeed of the Pharisees and the scribes, but he was chosen of God, and he was definitely precious. Go ahead.
Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house, and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right, so that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be lively stones, like Christ was. We want to build up a spiritual house. You're supposed to build upon your spiritual house. That's your mind. Those are spiritual house, right? One of the real holy places is here. It's mental. Build this up. Build up your spiritual house. People are too focused on building up their carnal house. But the spiritual one, the one that's going to endure, going to last. Build that up. You got to focus on this. It said, build up a spiritual house and holy priesthood. He's not bringing you back into what you're supposed to be being. It's a priest. We're in a priesthood. Act like a priest. It says to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. So now what we're doing, we're offering up spiritual sacrifices. But they love to say, yeah, killing animals. We offer spiritual sacrifices. We go to the next level of offering. You still getting the carnal level of offering. We are another level. Can you say something?
Two things. But before that, the lively stone. So this is spoken of in a plural thing. So if a collective do this, that's how the house is built. Stone, you got a whole city. You got a whole city. You don't just got one house. You got a whole city. You got the temple. So you have to beat that stone. It's basically the equivalent of being a body part in the body of the Messiah. You got to build up the body. You got to build up the house. And spiritual sacrifice. He said, we're on the next level with that. Paul tells us what that is. You gotta die. You gotta die daily. That is a serious spiritual sacrifice. You die daily, you go through this fire. You gird your mind up, because when you make those spiritual sacrifices, it's received as a burnt offering. So it says in Wisdom of Solomon. Going through that adversity has you accepted as a burnt offering in the sight of the Most High.
Do we get a precept on that spiritual sacrifice? Can we get Psalm 102? Psalm 107, 22.
Verse 22.
Yeah, Psalm 107, verse 22.
Right here. Yeah. Right. Book of Psalms, chapter 107, verse 22. And let them sacrifice the sacrifices of thanksgiving and declare his works with rejoicing.
That's one of the spiritual sacrifices that we are offering. We're offering the sacrifices of thanksgiving, right? And declaring his works with rejoicing. That's how we do it. We're singing. Like I said, I take these songs, I would place it with events and scriptures. That's how I give offering praise to the Most High, by singing these songs and changing the words to them and giving them thanks to the Most High through these songs. Replace it. So that's one of the ways we're offering spiritual sacrifices. And there is another way, of course, to do it. I want to read this. We'll get it in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus chapter 35. You're going to get 1 through 7. And we go into the Apocrypha to get the spiritual sacrifices. Ecclesiasticus chapter 35. You're going to get verse 1 through 7.
All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 35, beginning at verse 1. He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough.
See that? Keeping the law and keeping offerings enough, like just keeping the law. Torah, go ahead.
He that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering.
Yes, you peace offering by keeping the commandment. Spiritual. Go ahead.
He that requiteth a good turn offereth fine flour.
He that requires a good turn, and you're paying back what was done to you. right? A good term, offer of fine flour, go ahead,
And he that giveth alms sacrificeth praise.
yeah. Go ahead,
To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord,
so you wanna please the Lord, you have to depart from wickedness. Go ahead,
and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation.
and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation, meaning that's a sacrifice. Right? You offer a sacrifice when you are not doing wickedness. All that considered, these are along the lines of spiritual sacrifices. Go ahead,
Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord.
see that? God is a spirit, doesn't it? God wants spiritual sacrifices. What you gonna bring him, a cow? You gonna bring him a sheep? He wants a spiritual sacrifice from you. You say you can't appear before the Most High empty.
What verse is that in Ecclesiasticus?
Chapter 35, and we've done verse 1 through 4 so far.
Okay, 35. I was in the wrong place. Thank you.
Yeah, spiritual. So when you say when you die, you go get judged, right? For the Most High. Most High will feed them spiritual offering when you there.
So that's not, you not being wicked. It's spiritual sacrifice.
That's part of it.
Right. Because you dying to yourself.
You also
Something
find
is-
flour.
Yeah, you sacrifice your own will in order to please the Most High.
That's an offering to the Most High. Spiritual offering to the Most High.
That's why Paul says it. He says that you gotta offer yourself up as living sacrifice,
Right.
acceptable, pleasing to the Most High, which is your reasonable service. That's a reasonable service you should be doing.
You cannot appear before the Most High. And you appear before the Most High. And you gotta be- You're cast out. It's like, wait, why you here? Why you have it in your hand? You have it in your head? Turn around.
Go
Get something. You think this is- Go ahead.
Verse 5. For all these things are to be done because of the commandment.
Right, go ahead.
The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat.
Yeah. Of the righteous make it fact. That's going to be accepted. Go ahead.
And the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High.
Right. He's going to accept that. Go ahead.
The sacrifice of a just man is acceptable, and the memorial thereof shall never be forgotten.
Never. Most High going to forget what you did. All that's going to be good. Good stuff.
But you gotta endure to the end to get that.
Of course.
Okay.
But all the while you're doing all these things, you're constantly offering up spiritual sacrifices to the Most High, right? You're constantly doing that. Because you're in a priestly mode, right? You're a royal priesthood, as we agree with. Priests offer sacrifices. See, they think that you're not doing that because you're not bringing an animal. Not knowing by you just keeping the commandments, that's exactly what you're doing. You are actually operating as a priest while keeping the commandments. And they say that offering spiritual sacrifices all at the same time, they don't see because they're too carnal. It's way beyond what they think it is. That's why I tell you, help. If you're helping, you're offering up spiritual sacrifices. You are operating as that's what a priest does. That's not a priest come to help. What does he come to do? Steal? Come to lie? What does it come to help?
It's like to you saying that. Slow that down.
Oh, that was awesome.
In the temple, when you deal with temple service, those priests, they're not sitting on their behind. They are actively doing stuff in that temple. They gotta keep the lamp burning to make sure the light don't go out. They got offerings coming in, all day long, and
Praying for people.
Right. they dealing with matters that come up. not just from one person, you little small group, you're talking about a whole nation that they get. So those matters is coming up every single day. Ain't it? I'm pretty sure there was a day that, well, it wasn't a day that went by that the matter didn't come up. So they dealing with all that congruent. They're dealing with all of it congruently. So it's all just running parallel together. So they got a lot of work to do. They got time to sit around, so they gotta help the Most High. You know, they gotta help this. They got high priests and all the Levites coming in. So that's why they had to keep it a course. Like, man, shoot, they gotta give these brothers a break, man. Let everybody else come in for a week. Like, they why, because it was so much work. Like, man, all right, let's just go on a course that way no one's not stuck with all that heavy load. So yeah, you definitely got help. You went if you went to buy a month like Yahweh Shai, he doesn't have inactive limbs. That ain't what it is. Labor harvest, labor is food. You won't do the work.
It works. Christ said the harvest is great, and the laborers are few. So much work to be done, but it's not enough work. But righteous work. That's unrighteous work. Envying people, they mad as well. I started at 6 p.m. We get the same pay. Getting the same pay. Right, I came in 69. I came in, in 89. You getting the same pay. You get the kingdom, that's the same thing. What you talking about? But I want more.
Well, you guys will do more. You want more? Go do more.
I don't think nobody will really say that to the Most High. I want more. Wow.
Listen, man, the righteous is just glad just to get in. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You're just glad just to get in. Period. Right? You want to bickering about, you know what I'm saying? You want to have more than this person right here. Okay. They talk about they want more, but not willing to do more to get it. They want to do more to get it.
They got to be more humble. When they do. And if you are,
So yeah, keep doing what you're going to do, man. Continue to read, continue to apply. You know what I'm saying? You don't even begin to understand what you're doing when you're reading and applying. So you're doing so much. Satan hate when you do it. He don't like that. Man, he upset. Irritates him. That's good. Irritating us. It irritates you right back. You will see how it feels.
Serve that ball
Yeah.
back over
So
there.
right back over there. So right back over there with keeping of the Shabbat. He hates that. He hates when people Shabbat, bro. I think he really don't like that. Oh, go ahead, brother. William, go ahead, William.
Oh, they didn't erase it. I'm just sitting here looking at the
Oh, okay.
verses. Yeah, erased the hand. I didn't put my hand up. I
Oh,
gotta
gotcha.
get ready to go, but this was a real edifying lesson. My battery is dying. I can't believe I tried to charge it while we're doing it, but it goes up and it goes down and it's about to go out. So at least I get to say Shabbat Shalom, because last time I was on, it just cut off on me. I wasn't paying attention. How long are you guys going till?
You're probably gonna go until about 7.
Okay,
An hour.
I'm gonna try to, man, is this thing, yeah.
Well, whichever way it goes, man, I want to thank you for coming on, brother. Welcome anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back on next week for sure.
Definitely, brother. Definitely.
Y'all have a blessed Shabbat.
You too, brother. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you guys very much.
Okay, brother.
Shalom.
All right, let's go back to 1 Peter.
Was he at the Passover?
Awesome. I couldn't really see it.
Who was that brother that came with the sister? Yeah, last week. I think that's it.
It is, yeah, okay.
I think that's it. I'm not sure.
That is him. I think I got his phone number.
Okay.
I think it's Michael.
What was William?
William,
That's what it is. Go ahead, brother.
We had, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse, 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Sion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Right, go ahead.
Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious.
And that's if you believe. People don't believe in Christ, you don't view him as precious. We that believe in him, we that believe, we view him as precious. Like he vital, like you get riled up, you talk about Christ, like bro, like you can tone that down a little bit, bro. You know, you ain't gotta be talking all like that. You don't believe it. We can tone all that. You tone that down, you know what I'm saying? They got through all that, but you know, you get a little riled up and start talking about Christ. That's like I knew me and Chris Harris, bro, you tone all that, bro. I thought that, bro, me and you ain't gonna go along and be cool no more talking about Christ, bro. You can say you don't believe in him, that's fine, but all that, you know what I'm saying? All that hitting on the stick stuff, you got to put all that all the way down to zero. Like right away. Yeah, what you trying to talk about?
Okay. You gotta remind us it's a white Christ out there too. We can forget sometimes.
So-called Christ.
So-called Christ. Thank you for that correction.
I, you know, just the fact that he mentioned Christ, I gotta say, yo, bro, you gotta turn it all the way down, bro. You ain't gonna be cool, no way. You know, right now. I'm not this one, you know what I'm saying? Like, flipping these things.
I'd be sitting there having a process what they really said, and I'm like, in another space, that's actually kind of funny, but that's really not funny, though. You
That's
kind of
offensive.
on the stick.
Yeah, he's being offensive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he meant to hurt that.
Yeah, he did. That's why I told him. I told him immediately, you know what I'm saying? If you don't stop saying that, we ain't gonna be cool no more. Stop saying that, please.
Yeah, right.
I do need prayer. That's supposed to show you the patience of the Most High Christ. But they can just put him to death for that, you know what I mean? But he's doing it out of ignorance. He ain't no better. So I have to be careful, you know, how I operate in the term that I just like telling you, bro. I'm not fucking crazy about what you believe in. People on that side. You know what I'm saying? Even though we disagree, I'm still being respectful with you and what you believe. I'm not disrespecting you or your paradigm. That's the same thing with the respect to why I believe in a bad paradigm. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you can't be cool. You say you want to be cool. You can't be cool doing that. Nice.
Oh, some big money.
Big one. Yeah, big one. Like if I was ignorant, them fighting words, you know what I mean? Yeah. You couldn't do that to Muhammad. Them killing words. They will kill you over that.
They will. They will.
They're not playing. They would take your life for something like that, bro.
And they'll also follow you home and wait,
Right.
wait and catch you slipping type stuff. Like they'll lie and wait. They ain't gonna just act on rage. They gonna be calculating how they think about
Go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna read verse 7 over. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builder disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner.
Right. Hold the building. Pull that one stone, man. The whole thing gonna come crumble down. You come the head of the corner. Go ahead.
And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense.
See, a stone of stumbling. So many people stumble over Hamashiach in our shop, bro. Stumbling. This is where we're at. One of the stumbling is this virgin birth doctrine. Another stumbling is they try to use Christ for negative stuff too. He called that woman a dog. They try to flip that.
They're also flipping him being austere. They
Oh, yeah.
Looking at a whole lot.
Christ is austere man. He didn't play. Like a stern, like
He's firm.
uh,
He don't play no game.
like Moses.
Huh?
Kind of like Moses. No.
Moses was, it says that Moses was and number 12.
Like he was
Humble. They're trying to make Christ to be out some kind of tyrant. Dictator. He's an austere man. I'm talking about.
He was man in the synagogue.
Hey,
He turned over tables.
and you love to chop your head off.
like how he spoke to the Sadducees, Pharisees, stern.
I mean, the message he had was austere.
Yeah.
The message, yeah. Most time the word when it speaks, it's an austere message. Like this is a firm message. He doesn't bend though.
Yeah,
It is what it is. So yeah, the way he's bringing the word is probably it's an austere message because remember they're not dealing with the truth at that time. They're dealing with traditions of the elders, paganism going on. And, they were dealing with all that. So when he comes on the scene, he's just telling it like it is. It's an austere message. If you tell the truth is austere, and even in itself. So you don't have to do much. you can speak that truth in the most gentle way, and it's gonna offend somebody. It's an austere message. So and I've seen it happen. Like you can be like, oh yeah, but what's that? What? They just react. So these brothers, man, saying like, oh, well, he did this, did that. He was just rough. Like they use that as a ploy to talk to you, however, and they're saying that they're being Christ-like.
And like Amayan started, he said he spoke with authority. So that authority is what they call an austere message.
There's a difference between speaking with authority and
Definitely.
being austere. They're talking about someone austere.
Who was ruling speech. They trying to say like he was kind of
Right. That's what they try to say. Like he was really speaking. Like he's one of the most eloquent individuals that spoke in the book. Like he knew how to. He spoke in parables.
Body of wisdom.
Right. I mean, he could call you a devil. Yeah, that's what he did to the Pharisees. Called him, your father the devil. I mean, he didn't sugarcoat it, but yeah, he's just like But I don't never see him just like belittling people. He's only checking their sin. He's not belittling. Like shut up. Like shut up, B. You like this. You like that. Kiss my booty. You're not doing that. He's dealing with his people. Why we? You're supposed to be dealing with your people in a certain manner anyway. You are supposed to. Hey, they ain't saying it yet. Let them know. That's Leviticus 5. What I'm saying. Right. Not supposed to have malice. Not supposed to have hatred. Not supposed to have, being a talebearer. Just all the things. Not supposed to have the covetousness in your speech. Wanting to have what somebody else got. Yeah, like these guys, they don't do that. They see you and then they see a threat immediately. They're not even looking at it like, oh no, this brother needs to be heard. They're not doing that. Let that brother speak. No, the spirit of the Most High is moving with him. They're like, oh, he's a threat. Now get him out of here, man. You got to stop our program. Yeah, man. Brother, a lot of brothers, they're not doing it. All this austerities, I guess is what they call it.
That's what I think of. That's how they are. They gonna read the scripture where Christ says, "Take my liquor phone." Because those words were of the man's own mouth. What he said, what he really said about himself. Don't read those because they don't want to be like that. They don't want to be unique enough. Do that.
And that's what it really is. That's what I realize. They have not repented from their old way, like you said. They still have a mind in the world. They're finding ways to manipulate scriptures in order to keep their old ways. So they really haven't transformed their mind. Or no, they're not doing a self check.
Right. They don't care about doing no self check. Self check. Crazy. I don't think I need to self check. All right, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna read verse 8 at over.
All right.
And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
Right. So even though that they stumble at the word, how they stumble at the word? But they're being disobedient, they're not applying what it said. The stumbling comes because you're not applying it. You're not going to understand if you don't apply. We all reading the same book. Why are we getting different understanding? Because we have people that's applying it and people that are not. People not applying it, it's the wrong understanding. People that are applying it, get the right understanding. It's basically that simple. And that's how you can tell who's applying it and who's not. God is not going to give you that understanding. Who would do something like that anyway? How can you actually really understand what a pamphlet or a booklet or a guide is saying? If the guide say, put the leg on first and you put this part here in, and you ain't doing it that way. How you gonna understand what's in the instructions? It's telling you start there for a reason. Because people, what you have to do, they love to like do it their way. I know how to do it. Then when they find out when they put it all up, this doesn't work. I take it all the way back down because you don't do it that way.
I do that all the time. Like I get something, I don't even read it, but I thought to the side and start playing with, oh, I'll figure it out. Just like you just play with it to figure it out. And then realize it, oh, I need to go read the instruction booklet. Like, oh, I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could do that. About to go spend some money on something, then you're like, oh, I ain't need to buy that because it does this already. Like, oh man, I should have read the book. So yeah.
These extra washers here.
On the instructions.
Yeah, but sometimes they need extra washers.
They do, but sometimes people put stuff together, try to do it their way, they think they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work because they forget to put something on.
Right.
One little, they forget to put one little thing on, and that one little thing is throwing the whole thing off. And take it all the way back down and just put that one thing on. And why did they do that? Man, I take all of this one thing on? Yes,
Like working with a car.
they want you to do it this way.
Yeah, I put together that before. Didn't follow attention always to the team. Had it flipped the wrong way. And I'm like, man, I'm not gonna take this apart now. To throw a cloth over it. I just feel like, man, I done messed it up. Man. I should- Right. I'm just throw a cloth over it. Man, I should have followed the instructions. Oh no, it's just you. It's just a cloth. I did that with a bookshelf before. Like I built the bookshelf and I messed up on one part at the top. You know how when you do wood, like how like they got like the side that looks finished and the side that looks like
Right.
yeah, I flipped it to where it was showing the unfinished side,
Right.
like the actual wood side, not the finished side. It was just like that up there. I was like, man, we had to put a top up there to cover it.
Want to get back down and do it all over again? Yeah.
I would just use it just like that.
And the thing is, I couldn't know because I had already nailed it and stuff and all that. So it was like if you take it apart, it's gonna be jacked up.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just use it? I mean,
And so I just used it until we moved out of there.
that's what I'm saying. You might as well just use it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the unfinished part, just like whatever, man. Like just finish it yourself.
Give me can't go with the whole line.
No, see all that problem causing you?
Yeah.
You just read the instructions and do it the right way then? Is that headed?
It was definitely a dissatisfactory. Even if something small, this dang, I messed it up. So just imagine that all five words. Like, man, I messed up. Yeah, and now if you go and try to refix it, now it ain't gonna be the same. Sacrifice.
See, now you begin to understand why are these brothers up for so many years, right? They've been doing something wrong for so many years. Now they find out, wow, you're wrong. That's wrong. Man, I ain't gonna go back and tear all of this down and start from scratch. I ain't gonna go back and say, I'm teaching that wrong and that wrong and that wrong, and then come back and then do it correctly. No, they're gonna say, you know what? I ain't doing that. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw a cloth over it.
I'm gonna start from
I'm gonna
here.
throw a cloth over it. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna cover it up.
I'm gonna cover it up. I'm gonna throw a cloth over it. I ain't gonna go say I'm wrong about that teaching. I'm wrong about it. I'm gonna throw a cloth over it and continue to go. That's what they're gonna do. And they're trying to avoid the issue. They're trying to avoid when you bring it up. I try to avoid that kind of conversation. You try to hide it. That's what happened with them. Because they know that they're wrong about what they're teaching. Because they hear you come out with it. You're wrong about that. Not considering God looking at what you gonna do. You gonna tear that down and go to correctly, or you gonna leave it wrong. You watching this, you listen to it, and you know who's like, he ain't gonna tear nothing down. Of course. You like, I bet you don't tear it down. I bet you leave it right up. He ain't gonna tear nothing down. He gonna leave it right there.
Really bad too. He does some misspelled words over here.
So you know what this made? Did you know what that just made me realize? People who have autism got more sense than us.
Wow.
Because when they're not satisfied with something, I've seen it, bro. They like and they start all over again until this to where they like it, to where they like it to be. They got more patience than us. We like, that's right.
They want it done correct.
Right.
That's what they at. They want it done correct. Like most people don't care about doing something correct. It's done. It doesn't matter if it's done correct. Is it done though? But it's done wrong. I don't care. Is it done though? It ain't really done. It's done wrong.
Like, nah, man,
It's done, but no, it ain't done.
Nope.
Some of the professionals say, no, that's not done. You like, that little thing, you got that little thing right there. Yes. Yes, that little thing, yes. And to them, you tripping about nothing. To them, it's small, bro. You tripping about nothing, bro. That's small, bro. What you tripping about? To you, it's small. To me, it's not. To me, it's not small. I didn't start to do this thing and have something. I'm a perfectionist. I'm doing it correct. Do it correctly because I need to like it. You don't gotta like it. See, but you know why? Because it's not important to you. If it ain't important to you, then he tripping. But if it was important to you though, then it's something different. Unless you don't care about it being done right when it pertains to you. You ain't gonna take home a car. Like, you gotta go say, man, you tripping, man. Is it driving? It is, but it's pumping. But is it driving? Yeah, it's driving, but to you is important. You want it to run correctly, right or wrong. But to the mechanic, he might be like, man, you tripping,
No,
man.
you good, man.
You good.
You can get around.
You get around it, and ain't getting around with it. Yeah, I get it, but it's puffing. It all goes back to the person who put the value on it. How much value you putting on it?
Working right.
And this how the most I looking at it. Most I like, listen, I want this thing done correct. Do it my way. You try to do it your way. No, you're gonna be messing up stuff. It ain't gonna be right.
2 ways about
Right?
it.
You're gonna be talking about, but it's just a little thing. Like it's just a little lie. It wasn't that big. It's just a little lie. No, we're not doing that. You want it done right. You want to be spotless, blameless, without blemish, nothing wrong.
Wow. No gal.
None of that.
Like, you know what's crazy? So in the carnally, in today's time, that's known as obsessive compulsion. Most High has righteous compulsion. It's righteous compulsion. No, it needs to be done this way. It's a righteous composure. It's not an upset. I mean, I don't want to say he's obsessing because that kind of brings about a negative connotation. But he is definitely a composure where it's righteous.
But the Most High is a perfectionist. When it does correct. It's simple as
In
that.
no other way.
Yeah.
It's either 100% or nothing.
Most people don't see that. I understand it. I mean, I understand it. I understand it. The Most High wanted them perfect.
We see that with the temple.
I understand it.
He wants it done in a certain area. It's cookie cutter. It ain't all over the place.
Human beings don't like that. Human beings can deal with a defect. You know what I'm saying? They'll come around and put up with a defect. It's not right there. You know, put up with a defect. Most High that. They'll do with the defect. That's what you have to understand. The God you're serving, he's a perfectionist. He won't do them accurately correct. He won't do it like that. Yeah, so that's what I have to understand. You see that that's what it is. But if you're not ready to do that, because it's about getting right. It ain't about getting kind of right, right? It ain't about getting mostly right, right? Is it about getting all the way right? Well, I mean, I'm not 9% right. No. Get all the way right. And here's the reason why you gotta get all the way right. Here's why you gotta get all the way right. Because you have the accuser who will continue to talk and run his mouth. Is he not? But that one thing right there. Most High want his mouth shut. He ain't got nothing to say. He looking like, can't find nothing. There's gotta be something on him. Where? Oh my God, there's something. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me. Oh, he upset. Can't find nothing. Most High. Shut his mouth up. Just leave you alone. He got to keep pushing. Got to keep pushing. And listen, that's the reason why he never brought up Job to God. God said, "Will you consider Job?"
Wow.
You know why he considered Job? Can't find nothing on him.
Right.
Can't find nothing on how to keep pushing. He's like, well, be free for nothing. You gotta tell me something good. You're gonna free you because you blessing them.
You protected him.
You protected them and all that. You're doing all that for it. That's why he's doing it for you. All right, let's go back. We about to wrap it up. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 10, which in times past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High.
Did you read verse 9? No, read verse 9.
Okay, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Is that right? He wants to show it forth the praises of God. Like I said, you represent God. He called you out of darkness. People are forgetting what these things say. This is what we're supposed to be doing. That's why he called you out of darkness. That you want to show forth the praises of him. Right? Of him who calls you out of darkness. That's God. Go ahead.
Verse 10, which in times past were not a people.
Of entire past were not a people, right? You was La'ai, Amai. La'ai is not. Amai, my people. You were not my people, right? They would have it as Lo Amai. We even in the Bible, it's below Amai, but it's below is be not. And Amai is my. You got the I at the end, would be my, right? People. Is people, right? Is the people. And then my I will be mine. And the low is La, not my people.
When the last one will be
Yeah. were not my people. Go ahead.
but are now the people of the Most High,
But are now Aman, my people, right? Of the Most High. Go ahead.
which had not obtained mercy,
Would have not obtained mercy, right? La. It will be low Ruma'a, low Ruma'a, right? La Ruma'a, not mercy, not obtain mercy. Go ahead.
but now have obtained mercy.
But have now obtained Ruhama, right? Mercy. Go ahead.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust which war against the soul.
See that? The fleshly lust war against your soul. Abstain from fleshly lust that war against the soul. In time past, you was a person and you was not the people of God. But now you have become the people of God. Why? Because you have obtained mercy. Say now, abstain from fleshly lust that war against the soul. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Having your conversation honest amongst the Gentiles.
What, am I right or wrong?
That's right.
They're not doing that on these things, having your conversation honest among the Gentiles. See, these people can know when you're being dishonest, when you're not being honest. You got to be with it. They're not being honest. They cut me off and trying to make a point. Say having your conversation honest among the Gentiles. This verse why he approved that he was talking to Gentiles.
It's like the verse 11 does the same thing. When it says, "Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims." That word pilgrim goes back to chapter 1, verse 1. Strangers. So he's letting you know that, look, as strangers and pilgrims among the Gentiles, abstain from flesh, because he knows you guys are among them. They got practices that's going on. That they not that. That's why he says, like, even Paul, he deals with that same thing, that you were Gentiles, living like Gentiles, doing this, doing that, practicing their ways, but you are strangers among them. So as strangers among them, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul. Then he says, have your conversation honest among the Gentiles, which you are strangers and pilgrims among. Because the context continues on. So it does in verse 11, verse 12, that's all still the same context.
Go ahead.
12. Having your conversation honest amongst the Gentiles, that whereas they spake against you as evildoers, even they may buy your goods works, which they shall behold, glorify God in the day of visitation.
Right? They might call you, they might talk, say, call you an evildoer. But when that day comes, they may behold your good works, which they shall what? Behold, they shall see. Glorify God in the day of what? Visitation. So when God brings that judgment down, it ain't gonna come upon you. It's gonna show that the people doing what's correct. You're doing the right thing, and they're gonna glorify God. And you're gonna see what you're doing is good. If you're doing good right now, they might say, "Oh man, he's an evil doing all mess about it." But when that day comes, and God starts handing out judgment to who's right and who's wrong, they're gonna see clearly. I mean, that person right. See. God. I want you to get chapter 4, verse 3 right there. Same book. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3.
For the times past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles.
Right? In the time past, you have wrought the will of the Gentiles, right? You know all that stuff out there in the world. You was doing what the Gentiles wanted you to do, right? You was even doing you. Go ahead.
When we walk in lasciviousness,
When you walk in lasciviousness,
lust,
go ahead.
excess of wine,
What, right? Where are you getting drunk? Go ahead.
reveling,
Reveling,
Parties.
banquet, banqueting,
we be clubbing, we be clubbing.
and abominable idolatry.
And abominable idolatry. That's what you were doing, all of that. All of that you were doing, right? Doing, suffice you to live in the will of the Gentile. You were doing all of that back then. Time to come out of that. So listen, that's the will of the Gentile. It's not the will of God. People don't understand. If you understand what will you're doing, right? See, people think that that's their will. That's not your will. That's not you. Right? The Most High said in Jeremiah, he says, among my people are found wicked men. That's supposed to be wicked men amongst the children of God. But they are found among my men because they are doing the will of the Gentile, of the nation. Be wicked. That's not how I made you. That's not how you're supposed to be operating. That's the Gentile. That's how the Gentile do. Right? Let's go back to First Peter here. Verse 13.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 13. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers, and for the praise of them that do well.
Right. So you want to submit yourself, right, to every ordinance, meaning the instructions of man for the Lord's sake, right? So now this is where they twist scriptures up a bit. Right? Now, how can you actually submit yourself to every ordinance of evil men? Can't do it. Right or wrong. Many will tell you to accept homosexuality. You can eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. You cannot keep the Shabbat, right? So what is Peter telling us? Peter is telling us to submit yourself to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake. It has to be every ordinance of man that's in line with what God is saying. Right. You're not going to follow no man if you're doing it again, because we see instances of that in the book of Daniel. When they told Daniel and them to brought up in the statue, they're like, no, I'm going to put us in that fiery furnace. We ain't following that. We ain't following that ordinance. It's going to wall street. That's not what we doing.
You say he would deliver us.
That's right.
If not, we just, we're still not doing it.
Right, these are the people that outside trying to get to use the Bible against you, trying to be slick and say, it says right, it's the ordinance of man. That means you have to do what the man said, the government said. The government said it's the life of God. We're gonna do that. It says for the Lord's sake. It says whether it be to the king or as supreme, right? Or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. Right? That's for those who do that's doing evil. You're doing God's commandments and what he says, that's not evil. It's all good. Right? Because you're constantly focused on doing things to help. How's that evil? If you focus on helping, so I was helping. What evil was I doing by helping? You're like, no, he was helping me. He wasn't doing that, he was helping you. You telling someone to do the right thing is helping. So I'm gonna submit myself to whoever they sending all that long as they in line with the Most High Christ wants to happen. Otherwise, I can't move like that, bro. I can't do that. I'm gonna submit myself when you're in line. When you're not, then I'm not. Submit myself to that. All right, go ahead.
Verse 15. For so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
Right, he said with well-doing, right? How you well-doing eating shrimp, fried pork, and lobster, violating the Shabbat? Is all that well-doing? You put it aside by doing well-doing is keeping the commandments. That's how you put in this, listen, how you gonna just keep the commandment, you go put them to shame, you gonna put them to silence. They're gonna be quiet. Watch it happen. Go ahead.
As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliceness, but as the servant of the Most High.
Right. Yeah, I'm free and not using my freedom as a cloak to be malicious. This is what brothers are out here doing. They're free, but they're using their freedom and they're abusing it because all they want to do is trying to make people look bad and exalt themselves. You saw what I did to him, man. I made him look bad, man. I did this to him. All this other stuff. What they want to do. Using a cloak to be malicious and to offend. It says, but as the servants of God, that's how the servants of God operate. Go ahead.
Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear the Most High, honor the King.
Right. So I mean, we're gonna honor all men who want to deserve honor. We're gonna honor all men that deserves honor. You ain't gonna honor no men that don't deserve no honor. That doesn't make no sense. Right? Are we gonna be honoring murderers and pedophiles now? Is that what we're gonna be doing? That's why you need context. This is where it says honor all men. I mean, so what are you saying, bro? Like, anytime I say that to you, say, dude, do you honor murderers? You gonna give them a medal? What you gonna do? You gonna honor pedophiles? You do that? He said, no, I don't do that. Then what do you think? It can't be mean if you gonna honor every single man. There has to be some context behind it. We're honoring men that deserve it. You know what they do now? They honor men that deserve to be honored. They don't honor anybody. He says, love the brotherhood, fear the Most High, honor the King, which is Christ. Right? Go ahead.
Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear.
Right. Be subject to those that have the rule over you. Go ahead.
Not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward.
Right, but also to not to those that are good, but also to those who are forward. I mean, those are a little stern. Right? Again, it always falls back to if he's instructing you correctly. Right? If he's instructing you wrong, you don't listen to that. Listen to that crap. You listen to that. Right. You tell you to go kill somebody, you gonna go do that? Do that. That's why I go back to what my favorite scripture. Brother. See, whatever is said to you, be circumspect. Make sense of what's being said to you. That's how people manipulate you. He said, but that doesn't make no sense for you to do that. But it says right here, oh man, it says the gentle let to the forward out. I'm a little brash, I'm a little forward in my mouth, but it said that people have to go, listen to me too. I'm not listening to you telling me so much of nonsense. You're trying to solve my intelligence now. So I'm trying to get you. Because listen, he would, if it were in reverse, he wouldn't do it. That's the manipulation that comes down from manipulate you. Go ahead.
For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully.
Right. You got to endure grief and suffering wrongfully. Because what? When you don't listen to them, what they're going to do to you? They're going to put certain things on you and make you suffer. Because listen, if you listen to them, you're good, right? Isn't that right? You're not good if you listen to them. But if you listen to them, what they're going to try to do? They're going to try to put some heavy burdens on you, right? Remember, these are men that have to rule over you, right? Maybe your boss or something like that, right? Or your supervisor or something, right? That's what this is speaking of, right? When it talks about master, we're talking about no slave master, but it's someone that has a position over you. What they're going to do, they're going to put things on you, trying to make your job hard. But you ain't going to do anything to tell you. You ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? There you go, man. Let's steal this computer here from the job. I ain't doing that. Because you don't want to roll this wicked, then what you gonna want to try to do? You're gonna try to put some stuff on you, put more work on you. Well, I'm gonna suffer that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna suffer that. I'll take that. You ain't gonna tell me to do anything. Listen, anything you say. I gotta make understanding of what you're telling me. That's how people manipulate you, bro. You try to take the Bible and manipulate people. You have to go ahead and just do whatever they're telling you. Why not doing that? That's not smart. Is that smart? No, that's dumb. That's dumb. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay, we have verse 20, right?
Yeah.
For what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently?
So when you get beat and buffeted for when you're wrong, for your faults, right? When you are, you take it patiently, right? But you say to yourself, you know what? That was my bad. I messed up. I'm not gonna keep that. You know what I'm saying? That was my mistake. My bad. You get it, right? Go ahead.
But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High.
Right? When you do the right thing, right? And then they punish you for it. And you take that. That's acceptable with God. You're punishing for doing the right thing. Right? You punishing for I'm not doing that wrong thing. And then they put more work on you and you go ahead and do it. You go ahead and do that. That's pleasing with God that you're suffering for doing the right thing. Which is what you have to do. Let nobody manipulate you doing the wrong with that food. That would nothing to do with that's what you do with these camps, bro. Just the woman that can't do gonna tell the brother, don't go to work. Let's go street teach. I said, look at you, what? Yeah, I'll do that. You go to work, yeah. You don't get fired. I'll let you go. Listen to this dude with his foolishness. I'm gonna go preach on a Wednesday too. It wasn't even on the weekend. It was on the Wednesday. He wanted to go preach on a Wednesday. Dude didn't go to work. So losing his job. What this man over you will do because they claim they have they should obey your masters. This is the kind of verses they pull on people back then, manipulate you to do stupidness, bro. He don't care if you lost your job, you can't pay your bills. He can pay him. You can go back home and he's gonna be fine. You still trying to get another job, trying to make ends meet and all that other stuff. Why he chilling? He's cool. You can't go to him and say, "Man, I need money for my rent." I was up there with you on Wednesday, street teaching there, but I need some money for my rent right now. You need some rent money. What do you think he'll tell you?
Some overtime.
You're a grown man. You better work that out. Get your hustle out. Go ahead, brother.
21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Right? Christ suffered wrong for what? Did Christ follow them? Did he follow the steps of the Pharisees on it wickedness? They were trying to kill him and all that other stuff. Persecuting him and all that stuff, right? But not to kill him. Christ suffered wrong for he didn't listen to them killing people I was over here. Now, anybody can technically they can say, listen, man, the scribe and the Pharisees is over Christ. They didn't visit the nation. He was listening to the leaders of the nation, right? He should be listening to the high priest. The high priest is the head of the nation. He should listen to Ananias and Caiaphas. Did Christ do that? Dude is wicked. He ain't listening to you. You gonna arrest me and whip me and do all that? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna suffer that. I ain't doing no wicked. I ain't following y'all wicked instructions. What y'all gonna tell me to do? But them dudes take the text out of context and listening to people over you that's telling you the right thing. That's what you're doing. Go ahead.
22. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
Right, no deceit, no violation of Torah. Go ahead.
Who, when he was revealed,
Reviled.
reviled not against
Right.
again.
So when Christ was bad mouthed, we talked about him bad mouth back again. Go ahead.
When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
Right. I suffer that. These guys right here, they quick to threaten me. Quick to threaten, especially if you're correcting them. I think that, especially for the people who don't like that at all. They really want to do something. Go ahead.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on a tree, that we being dead to sins should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed.
Right, go ahead.
For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your soul.
Right, so we understand what the Russia, we're gonna end it there. You use the street going astray because you have the leaders, they were the one leading you astray. I'm gonna come back to the shepherd and the bishop of your soul. Yeah, let me start the close.